Hi, everyone. Gentle tap today of the gong, but here we are. We're back. Checked out podcast. Welcome back. Retail Stories podcast. I'm Ryan. This is Doug. Doug, what's happening today?
Guys, we have a crazy episode today. We're talking about the art of dodging customers and the modern retail stereotype of invisible floor walker, breaking down the corporate terror of the 5 a.m. Saturday call out, and heading to Midtown Manhattan where Aldi just dropped a discount store right in the middle of 42nd Street.
Wow. We're also talking corporate buzzwords inside the minds of the people keeping retail alive. But first and foremost, big thanks, big shout out to our headline sponsor, PA Skill Alliance. Start your road to winning by playing genuine Pennsylvania skill games. Support the small businesses that keep our communities thriving. Visit www.paskillalliance.org for more information. And remember, everyone,
it's skill, not luck. Baby!
Skill, not luck, all the way home.
Guys, and for our main feature, we are having a great interview today with our friend Katie Fissori Burke, a Saxonburg native who hustled her way onto the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon and is back in Western Pennsylvania to create her film, Almost 30, right here in the backyard of Saxonburg.
And we dig into the real business of filmmaking, how to crack a CEO's email structure, and what it was like getting completely ghosted by Freedman's for our first retail job.
Guys, strap in, grab the quarter for the cart, and let's get into it. So, Ryan, what's happening this week?
Well, this week, I mean, it's July, it's July, August. And so I'm just like, I was sitting and I was talking to Bran the other day, and it was like the end of the day kind of talk with your wife. I think we were on the back porch. And I was just kind of going through in my mind, like the different seasons and the different challenges. Like when you're in retail and you grow up in retail, like the 4 seasons, people that aren't in retail, they're just like, oh, that's nice. Like it's going to rain. It's going to storm. How exciting, But we're thinking like March, like a March storm, especially. We're thinking, oh my God, like, where are the sandbags? Like, do we have a generator yet? Is the power out? We're going up and down bad roads and scouting for possible trees that could fall down.
Oh, man. We just had our first power outage in Saxonburg in 6 years. And everybody's like this. Oh, my God, I'm like this. Guys, listen, I get through this all the time in Leechburg. We do this. We unload this case. We do this case, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, okay. Then you call like 10 people. You call the corporate guy. You're like, we're going to die. And then you call the commissioner. Everybody gets called. And it does get turned back on. But yeah, no, this time of year, and I got a question for you. Do you experience like, not depression, but like, do you feel like summer and early or late winter, early spring are the worst times for us emotionally because of all the craziness?
No, actually, I'm glad. Is a perfect segue. No, that's what Brand brought to my attention. I started to go into the self-loathing, woe is me retail, doldrums about this time of year and that time of year and how. And she's like, Ryan, it's all year. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, and this time of year, it's power outages. And this time of year, it's too hot for your compressors. And this time of year, it's too cold for your compressors. And this time of year, it's tax season. And this time of year, you're worried about holiday inventory and over ordering and giving away this and doing this and cash flow. And this time of year, it's how are you going to make for bonuses. And this time of year, it's how are you going to do this. She's like, you just need to realize that in retail, I've been watching this for a long time, she said, it's all year. There's not this time of year. And to be honest with you, when she pointed that out, it honestly like relieved some stress because I thought, you know what? That's true. Every time of year is crazy. So if every time of year, if every season is crazy and out of control and wild, is it really out of control and wild, or is that just reality?
Do you think it's a roller coaster effect though? Like, do you think that like you have this like high stress, like right now it's really high stress. Like there's a lot going on, but do you feel like though that like you have these times where you kind of just like glaze over a little bit and just see like, everything's great, it's fine. And then like all of a sudden like a series of unfortunate events hit and then you just go back into that darkness?
No.
Really?
No, since honestly, since and this is not a lie, like since the day that I took over the first store from mom and dad, since Katanning started, there hasn't been an easy part. Like people could say, oh, well, it had to have been easy during COVID because, you know, you were doing all these sales and stuff. No, it wasn't easy. Every day I was worried about dying. I was worried about my people dying. I was worried about, you know, something happening to shut down the store, that maybe the grocery stores would be shut down like other people. Like there's always a sweat, and there's all that was kind of Brand's point. She'd been hearing me talk about all these things and come home and say about all this stuff. It makes for good podcasting. But at the same time, it was freeing. I have had less stress in the last week since the conversation, because now, I realize if it's not power, then in October it's going to be, oh, geez, full taxes, you know, pre-holiday inventory. Because, you know, in retail, we have to buy in a lot of our inventory at trade shows and stuff, and it ships a month or two before you sell it. So you got, like, in the old days, the retailers used to take out a line of credit for like 80 to 100K to cover their holiday inventory, and then they'd make sure their margins were right to offset the interest, and then pay it back at the end of the holiday season. So, like, my point is, you could go through. That's what I wanted to start this conversation. If you go through and you pick every month, there's literally a catastrophic challenge in every month. Retail is insane. That's why there's less and less independent retailers at the table every year, because it's wild.
I'm going to do some soul searching when I get off this podcast, because I think that you might be right. Yeah, to your point, you are right. And it's funny, like, because you almost have to, like, coach yourself out of that funk, too. Like, you'll find yourself, like, actually this week it happened. I was having some problems with a crew, and you're like, dude, you're on the phase 3 of 4. Just finish the phase. And I'm like, huh. So I guess what I did today. I didn't go in early. I slept in.
Good.
Hung out with Duke. I took Duke to the babysitters. Lindsay was Schmaus is here doing some stuff, so talked to Schmaus for 45 minutes about a 10-minute project, but it was all really good. And so, you know, and to the same point, you just got to keep pushing forward. Yep. You can't, you know, our biggest thing we got to do is take all the weight and just go, it's fine. It's part of the weight.
And the biggest problem, honestly, we talked about this. One of the bigger problems that you have right now and that you've had is, you know, you're a very principled person, and that's good as far as, like, that's not a bad thing. I'm getting to something here. You're very, like, stickler to we're all principled, but, like, maybe that was the wrong way to say it, but
we all have principles.
No, but like, when you see somebody not doing what they should do, you know, you're quick to get them out. And don't get me wrong, we've talked about this. It's important to get those people out quickly of your organization, because they can become a cancer. So that's good. But the thing that sometimes you're a little too quick to it. So you'll, like Doug, he'll whack out like 2 people because they're not participating and doing whatever. But, you know, then he has to cover. And see, when I had a store and he had a store and they weren't really working together other than the ad and stuff, but like operationally, whatever masochistic policies he wanted to do was on him. But now, and I point this out to him, now when he decides on a whim to whack 2 people without a real plan for a replacement, and then he replaces them, what does that do? It creates a unhappy boy.
Oh,
and then the unhappy boy works with this boy who's trying to be happy, and then it's not bueno. So, yeah. Anyways, I don't know. Wait.
So your point, I get your point.
You get my point.
Yes. Your point is, don't whack the person before they unload the truck. Let them unload the truck first. Find another person. Have them train for a little bit. Be patient, and things will go all right.
Yeah, definitely. Have a plan for replacement that doesn't include you before. And that could be, like, a lot of times, I'll be honest with you, and we're doing it at Leechburg right now. I mean, you know, sometimes you have somebody either, you know, stepping back, or, you know, you can't take it anymore. You got to get rid of them. But before you get rid of them, and as they're stepping back, maybe it's like you have a couple people that want to take on extra hours, get some overtime, and it's like an incentive until you find the person. That's fine. But one thing is 45, man. There's not a lot of times where I'm going to let go of somebody, and the plan is then I replace them.
Oh no, you're very good about that. I need to get better at that. I think.
Well, it took me.
Well, yeah.
I did that and punished myself for years before I realized that.
Yeah, but you have an unfair advantage. I technically was a store owner before you, but you had the years of experience basically running the store. So now at 45, you have a 5-year jump on me, plus all the time I was away. So you've already worked through what I've worked through, and then emotionally decided, hey, this is I'm not gonna let this affect my life. Like we're gonna get this done in the most cost effective way imaginable. We're not gonna ruin what I'm doing.
You know when it'll really kick in? We'll finish this up. But you know when it'll really kick in is, and it's starting to happen already, but as Duke gets into more things, you'll preserve that more. Right now, he's just kind of like, I mean, he does his karate or whatever, jiu-jitsu or what's he doing? Taekwondo. I knew it was in that family. He's doing his taekwondo a couple times a week, but that's pretty much it. There's going to be a time very soon where he's like, he needs to be at school. Then he needs to be here. Then he needs to be here. And you say you're not going to do it. Everybody does, but he's going to do it. And then he's going to need to go to this weekend. So like that'll force you to, and it'll be good for you actually.
Oh, it will be. I'll be less stressed.
It'll be good for you. Yeah, it'll be forced time away. It'll be good for you.
But speaking of stress, this week I went to Erie for an event, driving back through. And for those who don't know, Erie is the top western part of the state on the big Great Lakes River, right by Ohio. I was coming back 79, which is the main thoroughway, but down through Pittsburgh and everything else. And so I'm driving along, and it's like 6:15. I think I just talked to you on the phone, and it's 6:15. And all of a sudden, like this rain out of nowhere. Like I've driven through rain, but this rain was so bad for me. 20 miles per hour, 4-ways on, for like 20 minutes. Then turns on 30 minutes, then 40 minutes, then 50 minutes, and I'm like, this rain is crazy. So I don't pull over, but legally, I look at my phone and I see the map. I'm like, oh, it's a big red storm. So then I'm like driving along, and I get off at where 422 comes across. Right there. Is that Parker? It's Parker. It's near Parker.
It's near Parker.
Yeah. So I as soon as I get off the interstate, and I go on to 422, all of a sudden my phone's like, warning, tornado warning in your area. Please be safe. Get to shelter. I'm like, what? It's Pennsylvania. There's no tornadoes here. So then I'm like, okay. So then I'm driving, and it says it's for like 15 minutes is warning, and then 3 minutes later it says imminent danger, tornado in your area. Get to shelter, safety. The whole place goes black. Like it's like midnight black.
Mm-hmm.
The winds are pushing the truck into the next lane. So I'm like doing this in the truck. And literally people are like jumping off the interstate, or whatever. It's crazy. And I look on the map later, mom calls and she's like, you are in the middle of the tornado. They just shut off the cable, went to the emergency, reporting people. Like this is serious. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in the middle of it. I'll call you back. So I drove through the tornado. Like it was like, where I was at, it was probably less than 3 miles away.
What's that lake by Butler? What's that lake?
Marion.
Huh?
Lake Marion?
It's like a little, you drive across that bridge on 422 and there's like a lake.
I think it's Lake Marion.
No, it's not Marion. Anyways.
Arthur? No, that's more north.
No.
Anyways. Yeah.
Yeah, it starts with an M by Butler. Anyways, I'm picturing you like stopping on the bridge to like watch the storm.
Oh, it was so bad.
That's scary, especially when you're solo.
It took 3 hours to get home from Erie.
But when you're driving solo through something like that, it's a lot scarier than even if you have like one more person.
Oh yeah, no, there's nobody to talk to.
Right? Yeah, it's there's nothing else to focus on but the situation.
My thought was though,
and there's really nowhere to go.
Where was I gonna go?
Yeah, there's nowhere to go
because I'm still in my truck. So I'm gonna go to some like gas station that was built on a slab in the modern time. That's no basement.
Yeah.
So my thought process was, the storm's moving 30 miles per hour. The tornado winds were 70-ish, whatever. If I needed to, I could go 100 and outrun it.
Yeah, I mean, the proper move is to pull over. But, what, to be honest with you, say you pull over and then some tree falls on you. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
You never know.
I think you played it right. Just go through it. And, hey, if it's your time, then, hey, whatever,
Yeah. Just so you know, though, the podcast would be really weird with me over here like this.
Weekend at Bernie's. I'd be like a ventriloquist. Doug, what do you think of that? I think it's a great idea. Actually, that wasn't too bad.
That was pretty good. Speaking of great ideas, we are at this week's Retail Stereotype.
Genuine PA Skill Games, powered by Pacematic and supported by PA Skill Alliance, are dedicated to fostering growth throughout the Commonwealth. These games have been instrumental in supporting local fraternal orders, fire companies, bars, and retailers by keeping businesses operational, maintaining employment, and funding community projects. With over 5,000 communities across Pennsylvania, it's highly probable that genuine PA skill games are working hard behind the scenes in your area. They ensure the vitality of our main streets, restaurants, bars, and stores. By supporting PASkillAlliance.org, you are investing time in your community, employing your neighbors, and contributing to local nonprofits. Together, we can help keep Main Street open for business.
The invisible floor walker, guys. It's a trend that's happening in owls, and it's been happening for the last 100 years. But this week, we're going to talk about the retail stereotype that basically is a walking magic trick.
Masters of evasion. This week, we're talking about invisible floor walkers.
The ghost of the owls, guys. The employee who somehow knows exactly a millisecond that you look over and they disappear.
Yeah, I mean, it's the exact opposite of what the job was originally created to do.
Guys, back in the 1900s, when massive department stores like Selfridges and Marshall's Fields were opening, retail was shifting away from basically the single service behind the counter who got all your stuff to basically a giant new box. That's how I needed to control the chaos. So they created the floor walker, which sounds like a vampire. We're the floor walker.
Yeah, and I'm guessing they didn't wear a blue polo and a lanyard.
No, their entire job was to be actually the first aggressive customer service person. They created this position to go around to make sure that everybody was performing their duties and to have that customer facing, right in your face, customer service.
It's kind of like the guy, like when you're eating dinner, and it drives me crazy. I know there's probably a method to it, but you're eating dinner at a nicer place or even mid-range place with your family, usually an event, and you have your server, your hostess comes, sees you, whatever, and the server's there. Then you get this guy that always comes over with a suit on, or a girl that always comes over with their suit on, right when you got a mouthful of something. And Joe's telling this crazy tale about family history from years back. Everybody's captivated by the thing. You've got a mouthful of something. And the freaking guy just bangs in because it's on his, I have to check on table 6. And he bangs in, interrupts Joe's story. You got a mouthful. Oh, so how's everything going today? And you just feel like saying, that was great till you showed up, but you don't. But yeah, I'm picturing that guy.
Well, that guy is still the modern equivalent. But it's funny. There's so many great stories. One, when I think of this whole like person position, I think of like this lady, and she's like thinking, okay, what do I want for dinner? I want Knorr's. It's on the top shelf, and she starts reaching. And 5 minutes ago, there was a guy there stocking shelves, and she's like, oh, I can't reach that. And soon she looks, the person's disappeared.
Gone.
And they're like, she looks the other way, gone. And then she goes next aisle, gone. So what do? They do the whole, I'm going to climb to the top shelf and literally put their feet on the shelf. Well, thank God they can hold 200 pounds of shelf, but they climb up and they're like, and it's the scariest thing ever to watch on camera. Meanwhile, you ask the crew member, what happened? Oh, I never saw him.
Yeah, they saw him. They saw him and scurried away. But, once stores shifted to self-service in the late 20th century, the former floor walker died out. Employees wandering around the floor remained. And Doug, as a store owner, you have to appreciate the absolute tactical genius it takes to avoid the customers.
I respect the hustle and the obviously the commitment to being that evasive. But, walk us through, basically that's the modern version of this person. But, it's one of the stories where everybody's had it happen to them.
No, they haven't. I mean, you brought up a great example, and that is a great example of the modern floor walker. But I will say, there's still some good floor walking that happens in certain spots. And one example, and unfortunately they're retiring, but the 700 Shopping Container, Tony Luke and Lori Luke. I mean, they're still there. There's floor walkers, and you're there, and they're there to support you. They're there to take care of you, and it's kind of nice, to be honest with you, because they're not looking to avoid it. They're opposite. They're looking. It's old school. It's the way it used to be, but it's not the way it is now. I mean, if you're wandering around a big box store, I mean, if you find somebody, man, I mean, they look you up and down like, whoa, what do you want from me?
I don't ask. I just got the app. I don't even ask questions anymore.
Oh, really? I know. I still tap. I'm like the old guy. Hey.
Are you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, because I mean, we're kind of old school, and being independents, we train our people to be. I mean, we're not to the level they were to begin with, but we still train our people to take care of the customer. Anybody you see looking for something, hey, can I help you find something? We know it's not like as productive as it should be. It takes people away from their job, but at the same time, it adds that personal touch, and I think people appreciate it.
Gong it, because I mean that's it. That's the magic. But guys, up next, we're talking about the origin stories of us Sprankles and retail traditions. So Ryan, what's going on?
Well, this week we are carrying on a retail and family tradition. It's a little bit of both, but it's really part of. I mean, even Mom said the other day, "Oh, you're carrying on the tradition." When I was 18, I'll never forget it. And he watches our stuff. He might be seeing this. Shout out Adam Shope if you're watching this. But Josh Shope, good buddy at the time. Him and his brothers, they had went on family trips fishing to Canada, above Ontario somewhere, upper Ontario, for years. And so they, back in the mid 90s, late 90s, people didn't know like what was happening outside of your area. And so when I was 18 and Josh was 19, his brother, they had known that when you go to Canada, the drinking age, the gambling age, everything is 19, not 21. But as long as you can get across that border, as long as you have an ID of some sort to get across that border, all of a sudden you really turn 21. So once we realized that, I remember Josh and I, this was 1999. Yeah. And we got a group of buddies of mine and his combined. We all, after hearing upon this news, we all pile in. We all go to Canada, go across the border to Niagara Falls. And, we're 21. We could drink, we could, gamble, we could do whatever 21-year-old at home could do. So we were 21 for a weekend, and it was a crazy experience. We came back home, and but it was just cool to as a kid to all of a sudden be an adult for a weekend. Like, it was just really neat. And so then when Laura, our sister, turned 19, Brandon and I took Laura to Niagara Falls, and I'll never forget. At one point, it wasn't illegal or anything, but we had to like climb over this fence, and it was so funny because Laura is so sweet and nice, and I have my sister, so sweet, nice Laura in Canada. She's rogue. We have her having a drink, we have her gambling, we have her climbing a fence. I mean, it was just funny. And then of course we took you,
and that was a great story. Remember we told about Ricky?
Oh yeah.
No,
that was legendary.
That explains why I didn't get the invite to the Canada trip. After the Ricky debacle, Ryan's like, I can't take any risk here.
Wow. Yeah, no. I mean, well, now it's more like, both of us can't go away too much, but, different reasons. Now, we've gotten past that, but yeah, we took you. That was a little bit rocky, but there was later excursions. But now, fast forward, then Cam, my oldest daughter, when she turned 19, we took her for the weekend. And now Colt is turning 19 this weekend, and we're gonna get there. We're gonna, you're on call, thankfully. We're gonna leave Friday morning, get out there Friday afternoon, have dinner, get a nap, and then Colt and I are gonna, when he turns 19, we're gonna hit the poker tables, and then after playing poker, have a beer at like 3, get a session in. But it's turned into a family tradition. Going to Canada when you're 19, it's like a rite of passage in the Sprankle family.
By the time Charlotte gets there, you're gonna be like 65.
Well, that's why that's why I'm trading the ales for the light beer, and I'm working out, and I'm trying to. I gotta make sure I can make it. I want to be able to. I want to be able to take her.
Be active in it.
Be active in it. Yeah. Be active in it. But, that's the origin story, 19, when you're 19 in the Sprankle family, it's a rite of passage. You go to Canada with your family, and you have a good time. So it's a fun tradition. I'm excited.
I think it's funny we never
I'm sure there'll be follow-up notes.
We don't go back to Canada. Like, you do that at 19, then you're done.
Yeah, I mean, you do it, and it's fine. And then you just kind of go about your business, and then when you're 21, you whatever. But, yeah, it's just the thrill. It's just cool, It's like, because 19 is kind of a stagnant age, It's really, like, you turn 19 and there's really nothing that happens. It's not significant. It feels like it should be, but it's not.
What's Cole's birth date?
7/25/07.
I was gonna say he might be able to make next year. Oh, 2 years from now, WSOP, but it won't because it'll be the closer happens at like the 10th.
No, he's got that. That's gonna be the next thing. Is Doug and I's annual adventure. Having Colt join. I mean, we gotta wait a while for Duke, but
We'll be 65.
no, not quite. You won't even be 60 when Duke plays.
Like a Pinto, bro.
No, we're gonna be.
It's
fine.
not. It's not the years to miles.
No, we're gonna be fine, man. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. Well, I mean, we're switching from IPAs to Miller Lite. Everything's gonna be fine.
I'm still drinking bourbon later.
No, you can't drink the bourbon, man. My trainer, well, not my trainer, my guy through Brand's app that we use. He gave up bourbon last year. He still drinks beer a couple times a week, but he gave up bourbon and he cut a bunch of stuff. And I mean, this guy's chiseled.
Is he happy though?
I don't know. He does seem kind of angry, but I mean, he looks great.
No. We talked about this before. I want to go out I'd rather go out like Elvis at 42 than be like that square that lives to be 95 and never did anything.
Yeah, but you also want to be with your son the first time he goes and plays in the World Series of Poker.
Oh, valid.
Yeah.
Valid.
Now it's time for corporate word of the week.
Guys, this week we're decoding the word that is in every break room, every corporate word. And it started out actually as not even in the corporate world as we think about it, but it started out as more of an employee behavior.
This week we're looking at a noun, a verb, and a phenomenon that strikes absolute terror into the heart of every retail manager on a Saturday morning. We're talking about the call out.
I'm already twitching, man.
The call out. You just know, man. You know it. Just by that, it means that somebody you're going to have to do something.
Well, it's funny because now it has multiple words, but the original one thing was basically calling in sick, which, was supposed to tie directly to your health when you called into the office for medical reasons, like the flu, or you just want to stay in bed, or you want power drinking with your buddies.
Exactly. But as mega retailers and 24/7 shift work exploded in the 80s and 90s, the technology shifted. Managers didn't really care why you weren't there. They cared about the operational void you left behind. When an employee didn't show up, the manager literally had to call out to the rest of the roster to find emergency coverage. Over time, the action of the manager becoming the title of the offense. You didn't call in sick, you were a call out. It shifted from a health status to an operational disaster.
You know what? As a manager on the floor, I can tell you it's an absolute disaster. In a grocery scheduling, you have a perfectly balanced schedule of certain people doing certain things at certain times. And so, you have a packed weekend, whether it's Saxonburg or Leechburg, the media department's humming, and then the phone buzzes at 5:15 a.m.
No, it's a terrible thing, man. It's terrible. I always say anytime I wake up, I usually wake up between 6:15 and 6:45. Usually it's right at 6:30, to be honest with you. And if any pre-6:30 a.m. texts usually involve a call off or something not right. And it's not a good. There's never like a 6:15, hey, Ryan, I got great news. No. So, yeah, that's cringe. It makes you cringe.
And the crazy thing is, the biggest flaws as a boss is that, you can overly look at the schedule and look at the crew members. But, there's friction. There's friction in the crew members. And for whatever reason, you're sitting there and your day gets totally derailed by the fact that now, in my case, you had to load trucks for 3 weeks.
Yeah. And, but now we have the modern call out. It's a meeting, boardroom or meeting or conference call or Zoom. And, the boss says, I got a call out for you. That's not good.
Is it always bad though? Because they'd be like, I want to give it, I got a call out to end the meeting we were in. They're like, I want to call out Doug. He did all this stuff. But is it always negative in the corporate world? Because I'm used to experience it both ways. But the call out could be you did something good, but also, hey, I need to call out something. when they say it like that very monotone, I want to call out something, somebody's getting the shellacking.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just, it's like a nice way of saying this needs fixed. It's like instead of saying we would say, hey, you know what? Great job stocking aisle 2 and 3, but from now on, make sure afterwards, make sure that the aisles are faced blocked and looking ready to go. Well, a better way, I guess, a more polished way of saying that is, there's a call out, everything's good, but right now we have a call out to make sure that this gets done, to make sure the blocking gets done. We got a call out to make sure that this is done. It's like a special, it's a call out. It's like a special, emphasis on something that's going on or needs to be addressed.
So, guys, whether you're a manager out there waiting for the call out, which is somebody not showing up, or you're the boardroom guy and you're waiting for the call out or the next Zoom meeting, make sure you stay strapped in. But, guys, coming up, we have a great interview with our friend Katie Fissori from Saxonburg, talking about her film and talking about coming back to the roots from New York City, very similar to the founder of Saxonburg, John Roebling. She's up next.
Remember the thrill of your first childhood game, maybe tic-tac-toe? Genuine Pennsylvania Skill Games captures that excitement, offering easy-to-play, win-every-time experiences at your favorite local spots. Imagine a game where a little skill consistently turns credits into cash prizes. A game you can enjoy with others and even help them win. No need to just imagine. Genuine Pennsylvania Skill Games, championed by the PA Skill Alliance, are real. Go to paskillalliance.org for more information. Hi, everyone. Today, we're keeping it incredibly local. We're talking about Saxonburg, a town that obviously means a lot to our daily operations, but means even more to today's guest.
Guys, we're sitting down with local legend Katie Fissore to talk about acting, living in New York City, and growing up and producing her movie right here in Saxonburg, Pennsylvania, guys. That's right. We can't wait. Up next. Katie, welcome to the show. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Super excited.
So, Katie, obviously you grew up in Saxonburg. We were talking a little bit about before we started rolling. You grew up here, you lived here, you graduated from NOC, and came back from New York City. But when you're talking about Saxonburg, what made it so special growing up here?
The people, my love for storytelling has come from the characters of this town. Like, you can't go into a local grocery store to get milk without hearing a whole 20-minute story. And I really think that's where I've learned like the arc of storytelling and like really developing characters as a writer and an actor. Like, for me, it's all about the characters. We have to care about the characters and the situations they're in. And I learned that from the people here.
That's awesome. Looking back at your time at NOC, I mean, you mentioned teachers who were like delusional about what you could achieve.
Yeah.
Who was the one teacher that really pushed you beyond your comfort zone?
Push me beyond my comfort zone. I had so many teachers. When I applied to the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts, I had 32 letters of recommendation from the teachers at NOC. The admissions called me and they said they've never had anybody have this many letters of rec. I had like my gym teachers, everybody. I was like, tell them why I can be an actor. And they just went on and on about me, which I still have all of them. But Miss Ronder, obviously, she's the theater arts teacher. She gave me my first real chance. It was Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, and I was in ninth grade, and just like kind of unheard of to be one of the leads in the musical whenever you're that young. And I remember that whenever I was auditioning, they started like putting me in for the boy parts to like read. And I was kind of like, I'm out. Like, they just need like these filler parts. So I just started really having fun with it. And then they said later, like, I was just so flexible and so exciting to watch that I got one of the leads whenever I was one of the seven brides. And then Mr. Andressi is probably my biggest fan to this day. On the last day of school, senior year, he came into our classroom where I was, and he was like, one day you guys are going to watch TV and Katie Fissori is going to be on TV. And he said, and I said it here first, like totally out of nowhere, just opened the door last day of school. So I was in off-Broadway play in New York, and Mrs. and Mr. Elliott drove up from Saxonburg, and Mr. Andressi and his wife drove up from Saxonburg to see me in this play that was like, I was in two scenes of it. It was like so small, but I've had like unbelievable support here. And like it's been wild. It's just been crazy.
What was the play?
It was called Buzz. It was written by a writer of the New York Times. It was about climate change. I had to look up like every other word in the script because I had no idea what anything meant. That was also kind of my character. She was like a little unaware. So I don't know how much acting was actually done in that play, but they came. It was awesome.
So, Katie, obviously, being from Saxburg at the time, there was the Friedman store. I
Mhm.
saw when I was looking through the questionnaire that you tried to get a job there, but they never called you back.
They never. That was my first place I ever applied was Friedman's. I love the hoagies, and I was just like, "Can you imagine working here?" And they never called me back. But honestly, then I started working at Kelly's Family Restaurant, and that really catered to my personality more, and like just Kelly's kept me so humble. The people there, like you learn what's funny, you learn what's not funny, you learn what you can say, what you can't say. It's yeah, it's just really good salt of the earth people there. So I think that it was a blessing in disguise. I know you guys would have never turned down my application, but
No, I'd have hired you. You had the right
No.
on the
personality.
spot.
You had the right personality. So you obviously worked with Leanna.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Leanna is one of my favorite people in the whole universe.
Yeah. Leanna, I don't know, I forget 2006 maybe. I don't know if you remember there was like a pipe break or there was like a water shortage on Main there was on everywhere in Saxonburg, but it didn't hit Main Street. So it was just so busy. It was September 15th because it was my dad's birthday. And we were up there and one of the waitresses was one of my mom's really good friends from Knockets. And she was like, Katie, get your family water. And then people thought I worked there. So they were like, hey, can I refill a Diet Coke? And then Leanna's like, who is this girl that is working at my restaurant? Like, oh, that's Katie. She's fine. And then the next day, she's like, hey, come the next day. The next day I came up and I started washing dishes. And then I was the toast girl for a while. I like buttered toasted, made waffles. And then I eventually made my way to the front of the house.
She's amazing, and it's funny. The gateway of I call it the gateway to the Kellys. Through her, I met Phil Kelly and Tom Kelly, and bought a lot of equipment that I didn't need, but I wanted to make sure I hang with the boys. So now I have a skid loader and a tractor from 1946.
Well, in case you ever do need those, they're in
Yeah,
the yard, I'm sure.
Well, I gotta ask Katie. You left when you were 18. You left
Mhm.
Saxonburg. You went to the city. 10 years later, you come back, and as you're going around looking at possible, sites for filming and talking to people, and just kind of walking the streets with fresh eyes. Like, what's the biggest change you've noticed in like the overall vibe, or just appearance, or just what's different now? Maybe the way you look at Saxonburg than when you were 18 years old.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. So it's like different eyes. I don't know if things that have actually changed. I think that Saxonburg, I always say, is like the last small town in America. Like Main Street is gorgeous. Like my director was here from Franklin, Tennessee last week, and she's like, this town is so picturesque. It's going to shoot so beautifully. Like it's what they try to create sets to look like in LA. Everybody just takes such pride in their businesses, pride in their character. And I mean, that's why I wanted to speak at the Saba meeting. I wanted to, show that I'm painting Saxonburg in a good light. Like it's the opposite of a normal film where a girl comes home from New York and like talks small about her small town. Like she forgets who she is in New York and then comes home and people remind her. And that was really my experience coming home because in New York, you just, you want to make it. So you'll be anything that anybody wants you to be. And in that, you're nobody. You can't be everything to everyone. And then I would come back here and I was reminded who I was and what I actually want to be as a person. And I think that that is shown through like how the town presents itself, how people talk to each other, how they run their businesses, how they run their families. It's so beautiful. Park's beautiful. I don't think I really noticed that. It's so hard because when you're younger, the view of your world is this big, and then you leave and it's this big. So coming back, I'm like, wow, I'm so fortunate to have grown up here.
No, we feel the same way. It's interesting. I'm glad to hear you say that because like we've lived in a lot of towns, me and my wife, and we just recently moved here about what a year and a half ago.
oh, you've been here almost 3.
Wow, it's been whoa, time flies.
Yeah.
But this town, it's there's something different. There
Mhm.
really is. I mean, and it really comes to light. We talked a little bit earlier about the mingles. The mingles really like amplify it. If somebody hasn't experienced a mingle on Main in Saxonburg on a nice summer evening with a sun setting over the western side of the town, and just it's just a to your point. It's like it's like a movie. It's like you're in a movie, only you're in your town, and then everybody gets done with the mingle, and they get in their wagon and they go back to their house, 2 miles outside of town. It's just it's a something special. This town.
I really couldn't agree with you more. And we left New York during 2020, my husband and I, and we lived in Michigan for what was supposed to be like the 2 weeks of the pandemic. His family is there. And then we just didn't, that was not our place. There's small towns there. I'm like, this is not a small town. Like, and we kept talking about, okay, we can kind of start over anywhere. Like, where do we want to be? And I knew I had this project in mind. So I personally wanted to be closer. But as I was describing every single thing, he's like, you're describing Saxonburg. I'm like, and I want to be like less than 45 minutes from like a city, just in case you want to go out. But also, I want my kids to know everybody. Like, it's so special. And I think that because everybody asks me that, like yesterday at the gym, somebody was like, and you really want to move back here? And um, I don't have anything bad to say about the town. I like being from a place where everybody knows who I am. Like my first date, my dad had 3 calls describing the car that I was in. Hey, just so you know, Katie's in this kind of car with this person. And my dad's like, I love that. Like, it's the whole town is kind of, I mean, I guess watching you, but I don't think it's in a negative way. I think more often than not, it really is that we take care of each other. I wanted to be a part of that.
Yeah, being transplant as well. It's a great community. You mentioned the Saba meeting earlier, and it's funny. Everybody leaves the Saba meeting, come down to the store for coffee and donuts, and I heard a lot of great things. Phil Wayne was just he was super excited about the fact that you're going to show off the community, and it's really cool the impact and the basically the lens you're bringing back to Saxonburg. With that question though, are you afraid that might turn into Cranberry?
No, I'm way too small to have that kind of impact. Saxonburg will not let it turn into Granbury.
Like, the thing. John Roebling went to New York, lost his tootsies at a water trolley, built his son built the bridge with his
Yeah.
wife, and then Katie Fissori, sorry, comes to the community, does a film. Next thing you know, bam, 20,000 people live here.
Yeah.
And Saba, for those out there that aren't aware what that means, it's what Saxonburg Area
Business Association.
Yeah. It's a secret society of business owners, right?
It's not a secret society. And I'll tell you what's even
Oh, it's not a secret society. It's not invite only, right?
Oh, I just found out what it meant.
Yeah, I don't know what it means. Let us know what it means. Yeah.
No, I just found out what the acronym was.
Oh,
Like,
okay. I thought there was some.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, skulls and bones type.
Wait a
of
minute,
stuff. Let's go.
you got invited to the back room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute,
No.
this is great.
No,
Rolling.
I just was at the basement of the white church. That was it.
Well, you got invited to the basement of the White Church? That's like
Right.
next level.
I've never
I
even been
was.
in the white church.
I think I told you this before. I was so nervous to present. Like I cried in the shower that morning. My dad came over and my director was like, why don't your dad just come? And my dad's like, Katie's you're too nervous. And I've done like some pretty big things, but I could speak. It's easy. You can speak in front of 1,000 people that you don't know. I know these people. And as much as, people are love to say like that they don't care, I really do care about what the town would think. And I want them to support what I'm doing. And I want them to know that like I'm showing Saxonburg in a great light. This is a cool story that you guys will like. The first acting I ever did where I realized like this is what I want to do with my life is I got pulled out of ninth grade study hall. I went down to the high school lobby and there was a woman that was holding a like old prom or bridesmaid's dress in my size. And she said, you're going to go to the primary school. There's a little girl there. She's really sick. She was supposed to go to Disney for Make-A-Wish and she's too ill to make it down. So Saxonburg threw her a ball at the white church and you're going to be her personal princess. Like what, just go in there. And I remember being like, I can't do this. I'm too nervous. And then someone said like, this isn't about you. Like, we don't care if you're nervous. go in there and just make her feel seen. So I was in there, and then afterwards, the mom came into the hallway, and so did the teacher. And they're like, for the last hour, we forgot that our daughter was sick. We forgot the reason that you were here. And that just stuck with me that, okay, I'm not smart enough to cure anything, but like if I can do that, if I can make people feel seen, then that's what I want to do with the rest of my life. So that was like the invisible line for everything. And that, like, everything points back to Saxonburg for me always. Like all roads, all roads lead to Saxonburg.
Man, that's amazing. I mean, it's just there's something special. There's a magic in the air.
Yeah,
I mean,
there
there
really
really
is.
is, and people care. And it's to your point. I mean, it's totally this like it's like a throwback. It's really cool like that. But I gotta ask this question.
Yeah,
You were on Jimmy Fallon,
that's
right?
what we found. Yeah.
You were on Jimmy Fallon,
Mhm.
which is I mean, I'm gonna say it one time. You were on Jimmy Fallon.
That's on Jimmy
So
Fallon.
what? I mean, let's talk about that. I mean,
Okay.
that's not just something that happens to people. Like you don't just get on Jimmy Fallon. Like explain, like just tell us about the whole thing, like the whole experience. What was it like being backstage, waiting? I mean, all that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So how I got on Jimmy Fallon is I was a clown. I worked at clowns.com, and I was a clown, an elf, a Disney princess, like whatever they had. I did between 25 and 30 parties a week. And at the time it was like Christmas season. And I also was, this is how the movie got started as well. So it like brings it together. I was really having trouble pitching myself into rooms with casting agents and directors because you have to say your strengths. And I thought that that was like bragging. And I just didn't know. I'm like, oh, I'm not good at any, like I just was really struggling. So I had an idea. What if I make a fake movie trailer about my life? This will show that I can act. And this will just like say, oh, also, I am this person. So I was dressed as an elf on the way home from like a Santa party. And I got the edit of this Welcome to Happy Hour, which is like the original seed for Almost 30, the movie that we're shooting. And I just started crying. I'm like, this is so dumb. Who is going to see this? It doesn't even make sense. And I cried and I was like, God, if you want me to be an actress, like you do something with this. I felt silly. I was in New York for 8 years. I hadn't booked anything noteworthy. And then I would come home and people are excited for me. And I'm kind of like, I'm a nobody. Like I'm not doing anything. The very next day, my company clowns.com was hired by NBC and I got to perform a like kids magic show for Jimmy Fallon and his wife. And right afterwards, like he came up to me and he was like, "Hi, I'm Jimmy." Like as if I didn't know who he was.
By the way, I'm Jimmy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm Katie Fissori. And like I shook his hand. He was like, you have great comedic timing. Like you had we've had this like party like for so many years. Like we've never had you just like commanded everybody to watch you. It was like it was incredible. Like not like just like really like making me feel so good. And then I talked to his wife and I told her, like, I have no idea what I'm doing anymore. Like I created this fake movie trailer. Even like I'm saying it out loud. So it's like sounds silly. She's like, send it to me. The very next day, I get a call from his assistant. It was like, hey, are you the union? I'm like, no. Okay, I'll call you right back. Hey, Jimmy wants to write you on the show for 2 weeks. Like, if you can't do it, like, and I'm like, I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. And so from there, I got an agent, obviously, and they helped that all that helped me get into the union. And he was incredible. When I showed up to set, he must have sent this thing around or it got around. Everybody had seen this trailer. I was getting makeup done. And they were like, so how do you know Jimmy? And I'm like, I met him at a party. Like, they're like, he's so proud of you. And that was just really crazy because your parents and like your teachers think you're good, but to have somebody at that level, like, stick up for me when they probably couldn't even like pronounce my last name really just did so much for my confidence of like, okay, I'm not wrong about this. I just haven't had the right avenue. And it was around Christmas time, so it was fantastic. Like everybody and their brother was on set. And like I met Miley Cyrus. I had a couple scenes with Tina Fey, Robert De Niro, Miley Cyrus, I think I said. Like Lauren Michaels is walking around. I just like it was surreal. Like I wasn't even in my head. Also at the time, one of the roles I was booked was a page, which is NBC's intern. So like I'm like laying back like in my page outfit and like all these people are walking by like, why is this girl not doing anything? When I was like, that was like my character in the show. But it was, and honestly, like everybody treated me. There was just something really, really special about that Christmas season for me, because then I got a lot of attention for the writing of it. So I had a meeting with the people, the heads of NBC for casting, and that's called a general. Like you could meet with like the head of the networks and just like get a feel for who you are. They can bring you in for pilots. And um I was at the head of NBC and I got so much attention for the writing, and they kind of like told me my strengths. You know, the woman was like, you're you're very cute, but she's like, I mean this in the kindest way. You're not afraid to make yourself look ugly for the sake of a joke, and a lot of people are afraid to. And she was like, if you can just lean into that. But I mean, I had been a clown at this time for 6 years, so I was already used to not being like cute. I was used to being like the butt of the joke. So, um, yeah, she like encouraged me to write, and that's so I'm like, okay, I've never written before. I got a writing coach, and then things just started snowballing from there. But even on set, like even though like my role was smaller, it was still cool. There was just something in the air that people just treated me so differently. Like when I was in the hallway, they were like, "Oh no, no, we'll give you your own dressing room." When like my character breakdown shouldn't have had a dressing room. That, oh, you're working on this script, you're working on this. Like I still follow like everybody that does makeup. I still follow the writers. Like I'm still in touch with them. So that's really, it was just felt like the right thing at the right time.
That's
Yeah,
insane. That's awesome.
it's amazing. Ron and I we got lucky and we're on Family Feud about, what, 2 years ago?
Hmm.
We were on Family Feud. So for us, it was the moment we walked in past makeup in this 4 or 5 story tall studio with like these, 200 people in the audience. For us, like that was a cool moment. For you, what was like one of the moments that like you're just like, I mean, beyond the writing, beyond the people, like when you walked on the studio, like what was the first thing that was like, whoa, this is different. Like it's a whole different angle that a lot of people don't get to see.
Um, Definitely whenever like the curtain, because I was in the first beat, like when the curtain opens and you see everybody and they're so excited, like it's just like there's tons of light and it's so hot because of all the lights. That was like, oh, I'm at a different playing level. And also I was rehearsing a scene with Jimmy and Matt Damon, and in rehearsal with them, like unreal, unreal. I was rehearsing a scene with them and I guess I looked distracted, and Jimmy was like, what's going on? And I'm like, I have a huge audition tomorrow. Like I got through this. I was like, I have a huge audition tomorrow. Like I'm just like rehearsing the lines. And he like was like, what's it for? Who's the casting director? And he like ran back to his desk and like slammed his desk and he was like, that's what I'm talking about. You're doing it, Katie. And I just felt like, is he rooting for me? Like it just was like unreal. And also, which is just fun, is that you meet so many people and he treated me as if everybody should know me. So he like people that don't know me, they're like, this is Katie Fissori. And I'm like, hi. And they're like, oh yeah, yeah. We've met. I'm like, we have, unless I painted your kid's face, we have not met.
What a great story. I mean, when the curtains first open and you're getting ready to walk out there, like for me, when we went out, and yours is even more amplified because it was just you. At least I
Mhm.
walked out with my entire family. That makes it a little easier. But like I remember when the curtains open up and you're walking out there and the lights are there and the crowd's there, and you know for me, it was like over. I had to like remember to breathe a little bit.
Mhm.
Was there? And then it's kind of like my everything shrunk a little bit, and then I had to like shake it off. Like, was there that moment for you, or were you just
Oh
like
yeah.
pretty
If you ask
natural?
anyone in my family and people that have known me, like they could tell I was nervous the first. I mean, like literally, there's like, watched you. You looked a little nervous. Hopefully, you'll ease into it. Like,
Yeah, yeah. It
Savages.
took us a
and your
minute. It took
eyes
us a
were like
minute.
3 size your head. I'm like, because it was like all like you rehearse and there's no people there.
Right.
It's just like, even though it's him, I had met him a few times already. Like he was a supporter of me, so I just felt encouraged. When you go out and there's like the Roots are playing, like everybody's freaking out. You're like, so I had it. I was like there was like an ugly sweater they gave a giveaway. So like there was like the Roots would like play, and then like at the crescendo, that's when I would open it up. I missed it like the first 3 nights. I was so nervous. I'm like, I'm never gonna work again. Like I was like, what is a crescendo? Like, you forget everything that you know. Like you're like, what's my name? I don't know. I don't know.
I just work here.
No, it is. It's a lot. That's a lot. What's my name? I don't know.
Me don't
Jimmy. Yeah, my name's Jimmy. Me too. Me too.
Yeah, that's funny.
crazy.
Me too. Yeah. So Katie, obviously, back in Saxonburg now. Tell us about your film, Almost 30. For the people out there that are looking forward to it, obviously it's been in pre-production for a while here, preparing for it. Everybody in Saxonburg's been, like I said, been talking about it. Business owners, people that weren't at the meeting were talking about it. You have everybody jazzed. So what's the film about?
I'm excited. So the film is about my life. It's about a girl that goes to New York City, and after 10 years, she's on the brink of 29. She's still a clown. She hasn't booked anything, and she just hasn't made it. So then there's a part in it where she lies and says that she did book something big, and it ends up blowing up in the town, like as if I would say something. Now everybody's freaking out, and then has to confront, like, I didn't actually do this. And she doesn't like herself really in New York, because she's like lost herself and comes home, and the people back home are like, we've liked you before you were anybody. It doesn't matter that you're still nobody. And then she gets the courage to write a part for herself. So it's very like meta autobiographical, right? Like it's nobody. I hope that when people watch it at the end, that it's not this story, right? Like I didn't like meet Jimmy Fallon and my life changed, and then I won an Oscar and now I'm a millionaire. It's like I went to New York and I'm like betting on myself. And so like I just hope that people feel, no matter what age, that you can start again and you have to try. And I've learned in the last like 5 years of going this, like so much is just asking for help. I think that when you're starting something new, there's like a pressure you have to know everything that you don't know. So that's not accurate. You can't get anywhere with just walking around not knowing. And I hope that that's what the film is. It's like inspiring, and like everybody can leave with just like a sense of hope that it's not too late.
Wow, what a great message. I mean, we can attest that because, I mean, most of the stuff that we do, I mean, it's just like we just do it.
Mhm.
And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't work out. But one thing we've learned is exactly what you just said. So, I mean, that's a nugget out there. I always say, ding, there's a nugget. Let's get a gong hit for those out there, man. That was a nugget because it's so true. You just kind of roll into things and you just be authentic, and things take care of themselves. I mean, they really do. But I want to ask you this though. So
Yeah.
here you are, like let's say here I am right now. I don't have the connections you do. I didn't meet Fallon, all that kind of stuff. But for the person out there, like walk us through, like for the independent filmmaker, it's not like I can just be like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna have a movie tomorrow. It's gonna be Ryan Sprankle, The Life of a Man from Central Pennsylvania. No, I mean,
Yeah.
walk us through the process from an independent filmmaker if you'd want to delve into it.
Yeah. So I wrote this script, and so obviously I wrote it for me. I'm like, okay, if nobody else is going to cast me, then I will cast myself and show that I can act for 90 minutes. So um I wrote the script. I got a lot of feedback on that. I love the book Save the Cat. That's a great book for screenwriting. It goes through like all of the beats that you would need. And yeah, like read a book. And I don't think you really have to read like 20. I think that like there's so many times people are like getting so many nuggets, and you can't use all of them at once. Like, right, learn like one rule, write your first draft. Key and Peele, I read a quote yesterday. They said, like, when I'm writing my first draft of something, I'm not expecting it to be perfect. I am drawing a square in the sand, preparing to make sandcastles. So, like, if you can write one draft, you are just like creating a map. Like, you're creating a map for yourself. So, like, write a draft and get like your friends to read it out loud, because then you'll hear, oh, like the audience is so smart. Like that took me a while to get into, is that like I was setting up every scene where you don't need to do it. The audience knows. You don't need to be like, and now I'm on a podcast. So, like, if you put a microphone, they know you're on a podcast, right? And then so you have to bring in a production team or get someone to produce it. So I, through a mutual friend, met my director Kelsey and her husband Kelsey and Chris. They have a production team. They're helping me produce it. So the form right now, which a lot of people are taking, I went to a film conference last week in Nashville, and now is the time for indie makers. People are kind of like bypassing the studios because it is a lot of like waiting around and waiting. And then, like, why I wouldn't sell this to a studio is because I don't say this like to get validation from anybody. I am a nobody in the industry. So, like, how many girls look at me that have a name that can sell a movie, like, oh, well, this is a great script. We'll buy it off of you and put this girl in it. So that's why I wanted to do it indie of like, no one, I'm in this. No one can take it. So you get private investors that want to come in for the movie, and then the goal is to sell to distribution. So to sell to a Hulu and Amazon and Netflix and Angel Studios, and all of them have different packaging and like pros and cons. But when you do that, you have more creative control for the first thing, and they're just so there's not a ton of work out there. So like Obsession was made on, the Curry Baker Obsession
Mhm.
indie film. It was made for $750,000. Right now, it's tracking to do over $400 million. So you don't need $10 million to make a film or your first film. Just go out and shoot. And even if you, so like my budget, I'm not saying on here, but my budget's, it's an indie budget, and the purpose of keeping it lean is so there is a real chance that I can distribute it and get my investors like recoup their investment, plus get a percentage on top, plus go into an investor producer pool. And like the way I'm betting on myself is I won't see one penny from this movie until all my investors have at least made their initial plus 15%. And that's how much I believe in it. Like I won't get any cut until everyone has been satisfied, because I can't do it without the capital. But there are so many ways to get involved. I mean, honestly, I even think Instagram, I know people artists don't love talking about social media, but if you can do it in the right way, you can see what lands, what jokes land, what people want to see more of. It always surprises me what performs well on my Instagram. Like, oh, you thought this was funny, or they'll tell me something that was funny that wasn't even intentional. And then I'm like, oh, I accidentally did that. Just keep making stuff and asking questions and get on set. I think one of my biggest things is asking people, like, I don't know how far this is going to go, but get an IMDb Pro account for $20 a month and email everybody and their brother. Like, hey, I want to be on set. Hey, I want to make coffee. Hey, what do you need? Like, every single person that like is in my movie or is like helping is from a cold email that I found. I cold DM people on Instagram. Like, I think people think that people don't look at this, but real artists do, real creatives do, and they want to work on good things. A lot of creatives will make a project that like makes a lot of money so they can go off and make the stuff they actually want to make. And I think that people forget that. I hope that
And-
answered your question.
Yeah,
No,
no,
no, totally. And real quick, I know Doug has a question, but real quick, it worked. Anybody that's seen the movie Rocky? I mean,
Yeah,
this is
that's like
this
the
was this
number
was
one thing that
Stallone's
I've
path.
cared about. Like
Yeah.
I've been trying to get like big mark. So I've gone through this through every avenue, right? Investors, obviously, who'll get an ROI, and then like marketing. I will go on to the website of like whoever I want and figure out the like how they structure their first and last name at whatever, like at Sprankles. And then I will just cold email them. Like I had a meeting last week with like the VP. I don't know if I can say it, but because we're in negotiations now, the VP, and the woman was like, "How did you get Brad's email?" And I was like, "Oh, I guessed it." And she was like, "Of course you did." Like she's like, she's like, "Katie, he was on vacation in Turks and Caicos, and he forwarded me this, being like, hey, set up a meeting with this girl." Like I've heard people that make Gmail accounts that are like for their managers, like, hey, I'm Katie's manager. I think you should be great for this. Like people are so creative with just because it is hard. And once you get in the door, um, once you get in that circle, I just think that you just have to advocate and know yourself and like what you bring to the table. And that was something that I think why it took so long to make this movie is that I would have said yes. Like, can you ride a horse? I would have been like, yes. And then they're like, how do you ride a horse? I think that there are things that you're like, I don't know how to do this. Here's what I do offer, and be really strong about what you do offer, which is just hard to learn when you're younger because you don't. That kind of comes with time, I think, unless you're super lucky to know that at 18. I
Yeah.
definitely wasn't.
I'm still trying to change my career. Yeah, being a grocer and part-time podcaster, I'm like, what else can I be doing right now?
Okay,
Well, it's
do you find that the more things you have, the less pressure it is on one thing? Like I find like the more creative outlets I have that I'm not so like tied to this one thing has to work out because you kind of have like a couple irons in the fire.
well, to that point, yeah. I mean, Ron and I both say probably more than anybody we know, like busy, busy. Like most days, I start booking stuff at like 6 or 5 in the morning, and then I stuff the whole way through until about 10 at night, and usually on weekends as well. But it's interesting when you talk about staying busy and like performing. Like I help with a PA Skill Alliance, which is our sponsor, but also PA Tap, which helps skill game operators throughout the state of Pennsylvania be represented in government. And so, first time they threw me into the position of MC, which I never MC'd anything before in my life, including like my own wedding. Some other guy did all the talking. It was great. But when I got down to Harrisburg, they're like, okay, here you go, Doug. Here's the mic, and here's the 5 senators you got to introduce. We're going to throw you on the steps of the Capitol, and you got to start talking. So, for me, it was like, the fact that I had to be back to work that night, I had to like get there, get quick. The fact that it's a short time, it's like you're in a hurry, you're always thinking about the next thing that you do better than if you're there just like sweating over it and thinking about what you're going to say and do. And so having that opportunity to be like, okay, I got this responsibility, but I got this one next later on. Having that short time helps me a lot with executing the will and the way.
Yeah.
It was still wild though. I mean, it was still still crazy.
And to answer your question too, Katie, to kind of piggyback off Doug said, but like there's a lot of new things that you encounter, and it keeps the excitement going. Along with to your point, it's true. Like the more you get going, the less pressure puts on one thing for sure. But like it's also fun because you're challenging yourself in new ways. Like
Mm.
for Doug and I, we've always done that. We've always challenged ourselves in new ways, whether it was at the beginning when nobody in retail was doing social media and we started, doing social media in a way that nobody had ever done it in our industry. And, that kind of stuff. It's cool. The challenge of it is cool. Yeah, I don't know if you're ever like stable, like as far as like, it doesn't really, the pressure's still there from everything for me, but the cool challenges that come from creating new opportunities is pretty neat. And I mean, you've lived it, so you understand that.
Yeah, I think that's so important to do. My husband, I was at a meeting or I was at a dinner with him and his like it was like a business meeting like 3 weeks ago. And this one guy who was like in his 80s, he said, "Oh, what a sad life when you stop learning." He's like, "I always want to be learning something new." And I think that is so important. Like to just have something, even if it's like, I think that was great during COVID when everybody was making sourdough bread, like something new. You can always surprise yourself, and one thing will lead to another thing, or if it doesn't, like this is like a hobby for you, but it's not a hobby. Like, okay, now we're using this for our business. Like it's taking off. Like when it starts off with like a general interest and you're like people, that's where people come in because they recognize it. There's like, it's authentic.
Well, we appreciate that. And to the same thing, when we were reading about, the history with you and working,
Hmm.
you can't be afraid to put the time in. I mean, let's face it, with our little podcast here, Rana, it's our third rendition of it. And I've went to RC Pittsburgh, didn't do very well because I'm still a grocer. But with Ron and I working on this, I mean, it turned in another 15 to 20 hour a week project every
Yeah.
week. I mean, doing the background on guests. I mean, because again, at the end of the day, it's the pressure of, you come on the show. We don't want to be like, hey, Katie, what's your favorite color?
Yeah, exactly. You're like, why am I here?
Like we were talking about at the beginning, just like one word answers. So, Katie, what's it like?
Yeah. Good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, so Saxonburg's cool, right? Like, yeah, no, you gotta put some effort into it. Like with you, I mean, let's face it. I mean, it had to have been chaotic when you were like taking stabs here and there, taking stabs in there, emailing, talking to people, trying to get your foot in the door, and at the same time doing 25 to 30 events a week. I mean, 25 to 30 events a week. I mean, that's a lot of time.
Yeah, it's a lot, but I also think that two things with like talking and meeting to everybody is that you learn that people are just people. And so my company knew that that was going to be Jimmy Fallon's party. I did not know that. And they gave me that party because they were like, Katie can do a party for anybody. She's not afraid, you know? And so I think that there is a thing, and I've had every single job. I've bartended, I've served, I've hostess, I've waitress, I've shucked oysters. I was like, had like a little oyster get up thing, you know? So I was a clown. There's so much I've done that when you realize that people are people and they like have their own lives and family dramas in group chats, it really makes you be be comfortable with who you are to like ask for help, you know? And like I wrote this that don't be afraid like if somebody says no. Like the worst thing that happens is like that you're in the same boat. But I think that you're right. You have to be doing a lot of other things. And two, everybody wants, my dad always says this, like that 25-year-old kid wants the boat in the house that the 60-year-old man has. And like that's not how it works. Like you have to take all these jobs and like there are people that probably say to you, I would love to have a podcast, or I'm thinking about that, but you're like, oh, it takes 15 to 20 hours. You have that time. What are you sacrificing for that time? Like how many friends I have that have said, like, I want to write a script, I want to have a script. Well, then there's things I'm sacrificing for that. You know, maybe I'm waking up early. Maybe I didn't even go to the last mingle, you know, like there are things that you you can't do everything. And I think that social media kind of shows that everybody is doing everything all the time, and that's not the case. You cannot be successful in a million different things and still be a socialite, you know? You can't do it.
No. You
No.
can show up for 5 minutes, play a game, say hi to everybody so everybody thinks you were there all night and roll. But you're going to the next thing and you're grinding, you're going home and going to work. Well, everybody's just, 8 to 10 deep by 1 a.m. You've already done, 5 hours of work, but everybody thinks you're there all night. That's the key.
Yeah. And too, like you don't know who you know, who they know. Like I am like, do you because like there are people, the people that will say no. Okay, let's talk about like investing, right? Because right now we're in the capital round. And I was talking to a guy who like that's what he does. And he was like, if people don't invest in you, it's one, because they don't get it. And not everything is for everyone because there are things that you don't like that you just don't get. So you can't change their mind. And two, they would love to, but they don't have it. And like those two things I can't do anything about. So I always, if somebody says no, I just chalk it up to they don't get it. And if they don't, I feel like probably like you guys, like I feel like people are either like on the Katie train or like, I'm not getting on that train. And I'm not like a lukewarm person. I'm not kind of like, well, it's either yes or no. And I want people that are like heck yeses in my corner. And so like we had a meeting last week that I could kind of tell during the meeting that the guy wanted to do something, but it wasn't his place to say. Then I asked him straight out, I was like, okay, maybe you and your company can't, but I know you know somebody who can. He goes, I absolutely know somebody that can. He goes, let me call them on the way home from work. And we had a meeting the very next day. So nothing is a waste of time. One of my favorite stories is Regis Philbin. He was I don't know what the name for it is, but like I don't know, do they have this in Family Feud? Like the person that like hypes up the audience?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, people don't even realize that that's a job. They always get like a stand-up comedian or aspiring host, and there's like a person there that does like a 30-minute set to make sure that the audience is like ready to go. They don't go from like off the street to nothing. So Regis Philbin was this on some kind of show, and he was interviewing somebody, and he was like, what do you want to do? And he's like, oh, I'm embarrassed to say. He's like, don't be embarrassed to say, like, what do you want to do? And he says, I want to be a film director. And he said, you should never be embarrassed to say what you want to do. If you can't say it and you can't believe it, how would you get anybody else to believe it? And Steven Spielberg came up to Regis Philbin on the red carpet 15 years later and said, Regis, I'll never forget what you said to me. because that was Steven Spielberg in the audience. Like, so everybody, like Steven Spielberg was once sitting in an audience afraid to say out loud, I want to make movies. You know, everybody starts somewhere.
It's so crazy. What a crazy story.
You know, that's funny. They just had this on the socials. Russell Crowe, when he was shooting one of his movies, as Henry Cavill, the Superman guy, he was basically a kid at the time playing on the field rugby, and he's really good at it. Russell Crowe went up and talked to him about, basically, the game and how much he loved it, and gave him a signed Gladiator before Gladiator was even released. Like, hey, best wishes. A 1,000 mile journey starts with one step.
Mhm.
And literally years later, they met on that red carpet, and they both remembered the situation. So, to your point, it's really cool about people. And Ron and I always talk about, like, when we're doing what we're doing, we're always 100% committed, just like you're talking about with the film industry. It's funny that my saying I say to people, I'm like, hey, listen, it's like a bank robbery. If you're not gonna jump in the counter and scream at grandma for $10, you can wait in the car. Like,
Yeah.
I love people that are all in.
100%.
That's great advice. Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
get all in.
You gotta be the guy with a machine gun screaming at people like you're in a movie. I mean, like, I want that person. So, to your point, I mean, that is also what sells. I mean, we in our little store, we did Oktoberfest for a while. We had to sell advertising spots. And if, to your point, if you walked in there, like, yeah, it's gonna be, I think, a pretty good event. There's gonna be a couple people there. It's gonna be really enjoyable. No. We're gonna be kicking at 1 o'clock in the morning. The police are gonna try to shut us down, and Saxonburg's gonna pass 3 ordinances against events this size.
All happened.
I was right. I was right.
All
Oh my
happened.
God! I literally
No,
said,
if anything, he's understating it.
I went to my Sabo experience. One of the first ones, I went to the meeting, and I'm the new grocery guy, and everybody's wearing masks at the time. And I walk in, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to do this Oktoberfest this year. It's going to be a rage. It's going to be amazing. And as a joke at the end, I'm like, I'm not going to be happy until they pass a law against it. And so then it was,
and they did.
oh no. I like foreshadowed it, because we had the party, but it was during COVID. So, like, for 8 days, the Butler County sued the federal government, won. So for 8 days, masks were like, we don't need to have any kind of restrictions here. We're going to party. Literally, I threw the Oktoberfest with 2,000 people in the parking lot of the store. I mean, it was crazy. So then the next year, I did down at the fireman grounds, and I think we had like 15,000 show up. And like, literally, the borough's like, we can't have this. You need to have safety protocols. You need to have some security out there. I want to have some snipers on the roofs. I'm like, guys,
I got out of control.
I can't afford that. They're like, well, we need to make sure the town's safe. I'm like, you throw a sportsman's fest, the largest in Western Pennsylvania, where 5,000 people show up, drink, to buy guns.
Well, and half of them are walking out with guns.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't happen. You have to go like 2 days later.
I don't know how it works. I've never won.
Allegedly.
Let me ask you this, Katie. I mean, you mentor local kids right now. What's the first piece of advice you give them about, like, reaching out about, what do you talk to them about? What do you stress when you're, mentoring them? What are some of your focus?
Yeah, I think kind of what we're talking about is just don't be afraid to ask for help. Like, in any capacity, like, don't be afraid to ask for help. I think that there's like such an insecurity, and there's like a failure that comes with, I don't know what to do, or I don't know what to do next. But that is how the world works, and like the way that, like it's even like biblical that there are people that know how, people are really good at doing the things that you're not good at doing, and they love doing those things. So, like, you don't have to know everything about everything, like, you're learning. So just ask. There were 3 kids that came to the Saba meeting. They reached out on the Facebook page, and they said, hey, is this open? And they said, they said their names, and they said, I'm here because I want to help and be involved in the film. One had to leave early, but the other 2, we were looking at locations, and my director's like, do you guys want to come along? And they were behind us. They were like, I can't believe this is my day. This is the coolest day. And I'm like, that meant, like, I have their numbers in my phone. We have their emails. Like, we're calling them when we're on set, whether it's for like helping with coffee or just like seeing how things get made. Like that, I know what it takes. They were shaking. I've been that girl that was like, I don't know, can you help me? And I think that there's so many people that say, I want to do things, but they won't even ask the person right in front of them for help. And I think that there's a thing too with dreaming big that you have to make it on your own. And then you realize that nobody makes it on their own. It's all from connections of people that they had. And people really like working with everybody that we're using. We're flying in crew. Like we're people that we're using are people that are just good people that really like working, that we know that will be great around other people. That Kelsey, my director, came here. She's like, the people that we know that will be respectful of the town and be excited and think that it's cool that we can get coffee here one day, or we can go to the gym because somebody gave us a free gym membership. Like people that will be thankful for that. Like be a good person and ask, like just ask for help in anything, not even filmmaking, in anything you want to do.
That's such great advice, and it took me personally so long to realize that, because being growing up in rural Pennsylvania, you're taught to be humble. You're taught to be kind of reserved. You're taught to be strong, not ask for help.
Mhm.
Especially as a young guy.
Yeah.
And so to break your brain of that habit and to realize, well, that's so cool that you're putting that into people's minds at a young age. And I liked earlier when you said about like how you were afraid kind of to like list your strengths.
Yeah.
I mean,
I really
that's how
was.
yeah, Doug and I are the same way. I mean, like even now we have to remind each other every once in a while, hey, you're good at this.
Yeah.
Tell them you're good at this because you are good at this. Like we have to kind of encourage each other because by nature, you're trained to be humble and there is a value to that. But sometimes you do have to, and to your point, another thing I love what you said was about being authentic. If you do it in an authentic way and you do it in a way that, not bragging, just like I can do that,
Yeah.
let me give that a shot. Like, trust me on this. Like,
Yeah.
you know, don't be afraid to like, advocate for yourself. That's important too. So like all the things you're saying, by saying that to people at such a young age and planting those seeds, maybe instead of waiting until they're 40 like me, they'll start, acting on things when they're 20, 25, that's great. It's great you're doing that. It's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I wish I would have learned it younger, that not everybody knows everything, but I don't know.
You
It's
don't know. You don't know till you know.
fun. And
Yeah.
it really, you need to turn around. Like at some, you can't, like you guys can't turn around and help every single person and mentor every single person, right? And I can't do that either. So like that's why this platform is so great, because there are people and the things that you're excited about. Like I don't want to gatekeep what it's like. I hope that those two kids that follow me, it does not. I left at 18. That was 15 years ago. I hope it doesn't take you 15 years, like cut that time in half. Like
Mm.
I want that for the younger. And I think also there's just a scarcity mindset that if like I create this movie, like last night I was on Instagram and they're rebooting 13 going on 30. And I'm like, I'm like, this has nothing to do with your movie at all. It's not the same story. Like, oh, it's the same audience. Great. There's only about 10 audiences that there can be. Cool. More to watch. It's like, with songs. Like if somebody writes a great song, okay, you're not going to listen to that song every day, every hour for your life. Like the world wants more. It's like I always think about this for anybody that thinks like there's not room for you at the table, is when you get an album that you really like, or you like see a stand-up comedian and you're waiting for them to do more. You're like, I want more of that. I want more of that. Like that. And that's one person. So we need more of everything.
Well, I gotta ask you this, with almost 30 going into production soon, like what's the next steps for you?
As far as the production goes, like
The process. Yeah.
next step is securing the capital. So once we
Okay.
secure all the capital and it's in the bank, we can hopefully that can happen by August 15th. And then the end of August, our DP will come out. The director of photography will come out with the assistant director. They will lock in all of the locations, make sure that they are great, like all of the scenes will shoot well, and then it's like locking in the rest of the crew and then making deal memos to the cast. So we do have a lot of the cast, a lot of like great actors that have been in a ton of stuff, that have read the script, that are excited about it, but we can't make it official until we give them a deal memo through their agent and they're locked in for those dates, because they might be working on something else. But we have a great casting director who's done a ton of stuff, and that's the thing. Like the budget is the budget, hopefully to lock in great casting. And the point of that is to hopefully make for better distribution. Like all these well-known people are working together as an ensemble. This movie, like we're working with great actors. I really think it's a great script. And yeah, that's the next thing, just locking in capital.
And so then
So my least
last,
favorite part, asking for money.
well,
Yeah. Nobody likes it, but you got to do it. I mean, we've had to do it.
Yeah, I want to ask. I'm like, I always like want to offer something. My husband's like, you sound like second, like you just sound horrible. Like I'll like write these emails and be like, because I used to face paint for kids' birthday parties, and I was like, and I will face paint for free for your next 3. He's like, not talking like that. Like, don't take that sentence out. But it's in me of like, oh, and I'll babysit your kids for a year if you give me $1. Like there is something in, but you have to remember, like you guys, you had to ask, there are people, the investors that I'm talking to, it's really crazy because everybody's brain works differently. So they don't understand how I can be so creative, and like making money is their thing, like they know how to run business. They know how to invest. They know what to look out for. I wish my brain had a little bit more of that, but it doesn't. And that's why other people exist. So
Okay, I have a question. Has he ever been in sales before?
yeah.
Okay, because it's funny, in sales, I used to sell Western boots. Was one of my oddball jobs. I was trying to find my way back to Pennsylvania. But my job was to basically customize Western boots and sell them to high-end customers. We're talking about like $5,000 pair of boots, wear once a year. So the thing my boss told me, which he was a smart guy, he said, Doug, he's like, when you're doing the sales, there's that time where you're talking back and forth. But as soon as you do the ask, the first person that talks loses.
Is the loser of the combo.
Every time. And so like literally I would sit there sometimes for my record was like 5 minutes. I was like, so what do you think? And I just stare at them. I wouldn't crack a smile. I wouldn't even look away. I just stare right into their soul. And they'd be like, please, I'll just take the boot. Stop looking at me.
Yeah.
So don't offer the face painting. Just
does take a lot to be like, I did. I've called other business owners like in the area. I'm like, what should I say if they ask for a number? And like my line has been, that is a great question for our second conversation. I'm just gaining interest. Like that's my thing.
Yeah.
I'm just gaining interest right now.
That's a great line too.
It is. That is. I'll have to remember that one. That's good.
The follow-up podcast, once the movie comes out, it's going to be sales tactics from Katie.
Yeah. Well, so, we can like sell ad space in the movie for marketing. And like through this, I have an idea that maybe cut this out because maybe we could work on it in Saxonburg, but a movie about the making of a movie where the people creating the movie, it's just ads for the town. It's like, you got to drink that beer for 30 seconds. And it's like, okay, done. So like you never get to the plot of the story because it's just like, like the husband's breaking up with like the wife. And it's like, but I brought you speckled hen.
Oh
like,
my God.
I love it.
Open 8 to 1, Sunday through Saturday. Like,
oh my God. I would watch that too. That'd be amazing.
Like kind of be like a Christopher Guest like best in show. Like
it's funny.
Like the making of a movie, and it's just like it never gets made. There's like no plot because it's just ads from the town. They have to have like their biggest investor has like a granddaughter who like can't act at all, but like she needs to be in like every scene. Like I think that's hilarious. So if you want to get on that with me, that could be the next one in our story.
Oh my God, the negotiation would be funny. Listen, I'm going to give you the money you want, but I want my loaf of bread. I have bread at every dinner table in the movie.
Yeah, we could definitely help in the creative of that. Like that's funny.
And then too, like having the characters like be like a dramatic scene, and then like that you could just like see the DP being like this, and like the bread like scooting.
Exactly.
I want a divorce.
That's funny. That's legit.
Do you want butter with that?
Okay, let's come with that.
Okay, I like it. I think I could be this whole thing. Just like it could be an ongoing gimmick. It'd be hilarious.
Oh, that's really funny.
Yeah.
I would watch that for a long time.
Yeah.
Before I realized what was happening.
You'd run out.
And I'd still watch it.
15 to 20 extra hours in your week because I can find it to make this movie.
You can always find time. You can always find time. You just have to steal from sleep and other things.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We are glad to hear though that as far as the creative aspect of it, like with our little podcast here, For the first 4 weeks, I had to edit the podcast, which created two major problems. One was time, obviously. Number two, I would hate Ryan by the end of it because like I'd be like, Ryan just cut me off again. He just cut me off again, and I had to watch it for 10 hours. I'm like, I'm gonna kill him. So we'd come back in the studio and we had like 3 blow-ups. Nothing physical, but like just like to the point where like the first, I think it was episode 5, we got in, like a horrible fight and we couldn't shoot the episode, and then we had to come back a couple days later. But then by episode 10, we had another big fight, and then like we just shot the episode.
Yeah, there were some growing pains along the way. I mean, we still have flare-ups, but I mean that's life. I mean that's partnership, brothership stuff.
Yeah,
I mean
that's family
it
stuff.
happens.
Good. You guys should showcase that. That's good.
Yeah, no, it happens, and we talk about it. I mean, we're talking about it right now. We're just honest about it. I mean, there's times where literally it's like how close we get close to like being, 10 and whatever and fisticuffs. I mean, it's close sometimes. I mean, you get passionate. We're both very passionate people. And he always liked it too, because I like would go through and do like come up with the clips. I'd see the clips. So this is before we had anybody helping us, and I would then like watch it again or watch a part that I hadn't watched before. And after he had just spent like 7-8 hours editing, I'd like shoot him a text. Hey, there's these 5 pieces I want cut so I can use them for clips. Oh my, it was bad. It was rough. But you got to start when you're starting off. You got to do it all yourself. I mean, that's just how it is. I
All
mean,
yourself. All yourself.
until you get sponsored, until you get things rolling. I mean, you just gotta you gotta be everything. I mean, you just gotta do it all. And
Yeah.
so,
No,
but then you appreciate people that are doing it for you. You appreciate what they're doing, and
yeah. Now it
like
feels like that I have a team surrounding. It's starting to feel more real. It was really last week was really emotional because when you're doing things, it's so to yourself and it's just kind of like an idea and the idea is on paper and then you're like, okay. And then you're telling people, a lot of the stuff that you do creatively and probably like with the podcast, even like setting up your podcast, right? That's like it's a checklist off. But like me telling somebody like, oh, I finished a second draft or, oh, I figured this character's arc out. Like, okay, what they're like, the next question is, what streaming service will it be on? You're like, okay, like, they don't see all these like little milestones that are a big deal. And we were at Three Rivers Studio. It's a huge studio down in Pittsburgh. I think it's like 130,000 square feet. Huge. It's like Costco after Costco. We were there and the general manager said to me, he's like, you have to be pinching yourself. Like you're making a movie in your hometown. And I was so emotional because I'm like, oh, this is what me saying for 5 years, I'm making a movie has done. And and that's what I want to say too, is that I I'm sure that people like will read about it on Facebook or the Baller Ego, and it's like, oh, cool, this girl just made a movie, but there's so much in the back end of like someone reads it, they hate it. You have to decide, do I care about this person's opinion? And is anything they're saying valid? Are they just being mean because they didn't write a script? Like all of these things. And they say like, like hard work, sweat in 10 years can make anyone look like an overnight success, you know? And I think that it's a lot of like you guys like not when you say something, you've told people like I said this at the business meeting, people are like, well, what would I have to do? You guys are creatives, but a lot of people there probably were like, well, how can I help you with your movie? How are we alike? And when you own a business or when you want to do anything, you sit at a table and say out loud your idea. And you saying your idea makes it like, I think this is a good idea, which then is you. And people are like, well, what if people stop eating bread, Doug? What if people stop going grocery shopping? What if it catches on fire? What if you got this new digital machine and then the Wi-Fi doesn't work? How are you going to make money that day? Like all of these things, you're like, oh, you thought I haven't thought about how I could fail? That's actually all I've thought about. Like,
Yeah. Yes.
When
Yes.
I'm in this meeting, I'm like, really hope we can sell this script. Like, you don't think, but it's like you have to believe in yourself to where it's delusional, to where it's like people get on board. And I had a meeting with somebody this weekend. He's like, when you do this, when you advocate for yourself, it's amazing. Like the magic that starts happening. And then people will be like, I believe in it. I believe in it. And then it ends up being made. Like it's a miracle that like any movie or any business exists. All the things that have to pull off that I'm sure you guys have stories that could last all week of ways that like you should have failed and didn't. And that's
34 episodes.
Yeah.
There's 34 episodes and counting.
Yeah. And I think
Like,
that's what a lot of people are. A lot of people want to do things, but they're not afraid. They're too afraid to fail doing them. And you can't, like, you don't know, you don't know how cold the water is until you like jump in, and then you find out if you know how to swim.
well, it's funny. It's like as I tell Ryan sometimes, the whole idea of they have to pay you to go across a bridge, a little troll. You just
Yeah.
don't feed the trolls. If you don't
Yeah.
feed the trolls, they go away.
Yeah.
And so it's people on our sprinkle page or podcast page get radical, and they want us to fail. And I'm like, oh, that's cute. I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah.
Just
And
move on.
it never has anything to do with you. That took me a
Mm-mm.
long time. It always, when you have confidence and you keep moving forward, even if you're not successful, like I'm sure there are people that went to my school that are I was in Katie's class. She wasn't even that good of an actress. I don't even think she's that fun. Like whatever. It makes them reflect on what they're not doing. And it is so much easier to sit at a table and point out flaws in someone else than it is to start a podcast, get investors for a business, get investors for a movie, because then it makes them feel like, oh, this is why I'm not doing it. And she's silly for doing it, which is not true. It never has anything to do with you. It's what you're mirroring in the other person.
100%.
Man, that's like a clip right there. I saw the whole clip.
Man. 100%.
Bam.
No, it's
I mean,
100%.
like nailed it. Like,
No, and what you just said, to get on a side note, but I mean, it goes along with it. My son Colt and I were just talking about it. It's actually an epidemic in the current like generation, like 13 to 25. It's like cool to be cool. It's
Yeah.
not cool to put yourself out there. It's not cool to take chances. It's not cool to say hi to people. It's where that's such a bad way to look at it. And like, I'm very proud of my son because he's like, we've talked about it before. He's the guy that calls people out on that. They're like, hey, talk to me. Talk to me. You're not that cool. I'm not that cool. Let's just talk. Let's be people. Come on, bro. Just be people. But like that, it's a problem. But to that point, I think it's a strength for the people like us that are willing to put ourselves out there because you gain even more attention without even really meaning to, because so many people are just trying to be cool that they're afraid to put themselves out there. They're afraid to look ridiculous. They're afraid to be wrong. They're afraid to fail. So for people that aren't afraid to do that, it just creates more of an advantage, I think.
Yeah. No, it really does. My husband always says that I like one of my things is like I fall in love with people's potential. Like if you told me like, oh, and we're creating a bakery, the next time I run into you, I'm like, so how's the bakery going? So like don't ever say to me like an idea you have. And people are like, oh, that was just an idea. I'm like, oh, well, if you have questions about it, like we were at a party and somebody's like, oh, I have an idea for a screenplay. And I was listening to it and about 20 minutes in, like everybody is like playing volleyball, drinking, like having fun. And I said, hey, I have a question. What are the chances you actually write this? Oh, probably none. I just want to hear what you think. And I was like, cool. Can we table this for something else? Because like,
yeah,
crazy.
like you want to get invested.
To write this? Why are you holding me hostage in this corner?
Well,
Everybody's been there.
Yeah.
Katie's the ultimate bank robber.
You know what would be funnier? You know what would make your business better? Is you put the deli. Okay, well, you can't do that because the power lines are here and the water lines are here and like all these things of like it's just so funny.
No,
I
we've
agree with what you're
talked
saying
to
about your
1,000
son.
people.
I
yeah.
really feel I hope that's what this movie does. I grew up like my weekends were going to get a Freeman's hoagie, going to primetime video, and watching the same movie on repeat for 48 hours till I knew all the words. And like it was like all late 90s, early 2000s, but like as silly as it says, it's not silly. Like Legally Blonde, Elle Woods, like there was so much motivation to move forward that I think like that's also where my delusion came in of like going. And now I don't know what young kids are watching, which is why I want to make this movie of like, she's not famous afterwards. She's not successful. It's like, she's starting. Like, after all of this, she's finally writing this movie for herself. She's believing in herself. And I think that that's not a lesson that's taught. And also it's not a lesson with like, I'm trying to watch like younger shows to see like what themes. I don't care about the characters because they're like you're saying, they're like, they're too cool, they're mean, they're misunderstood. Fine. What's the reason? Are their parents divorced? Are like, did they, like there has to be a reason because like when I watch a show and the character hasn't showed up to work for 3 weeks because he's been playing video games, I don't care he lost his job. I'm like, yeah, that's what happens. Surprised it took 3 weeks that for you to lose your job. And I think that you're right. There's a thing of like, that I don't care is cool, but it's not cool. It's cool to try. Like if this movie fails, it will not be from lack of trying. I will volley this ball up until God takes the ball and is like, and we're done. I'm like, okay. And then I'm gonna make a different movie. Like
Yeah. Kate, I feel like if we were watching a montage of like you'd be at like back to the party, you'd be there, and like the girl's like, you know what? I'm a little bit low on funds. I'm thinking about robbing the bank, and you already have like the duffel bag, the ski mask on, and you picked out which gun you're gonna use, and you're in the getaway car you just stole from the other neighbor. You're like, look, get in, we're going, come on. And they're like, no, I was just kidding, and you're like, what? Wasting my
oh, wait,
time?
what? Yeah. But you guys too, when you talk to so many people, like I've had some really great yeses because they've been followed by a ton of no's, or even worse than no's, just like no replies back. Oh, okay, I guess that's a dead end. Like I think that people say, "Oh, you reached out to one person one time." You don't know where that person was. Maybe they were in the middle of shooting a podcast. Oh, I'll get to this later. Never got back to it. And then went to Myrtle Beach with their family, forgot about you forever. It's not personal. Like keep
Yeah.
reaching out. There's a lot of yeses. But I think people want to help people more than people think, I'm excited when people talk to me about what I like because I'm like, oh yeah, I want to help you with this.
100%. People want to pay it back.
Yeah, people want to be a
Yeah.
part of something. They want to join something. They want to be known for something. And if you have a charismatic person that cares and honestly wants to rob banks with you, it makes sense. It's a great synergy, as Ryan says, other corporate words of the week. But no, it's great synergy. And so but you got I mean, there's so many things, but you got to be not afraid to go out there, put yourself on the line, say, listen, this is the brand. I am the brand. I am willing to represent the brand.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you 110%. I just need a little bit of help. And again, at the end of the day, I mean, that's some of our best relationships, like corporate wise, have been formed that way. Penn United. We have our friends over at Deal Automotive that have been huge supporters of ours. PA Skills been a huge supporter of ours. And there's just like, and for us, it's always cool when like, you're like, wow, you actually watch our show, or like you actually like followed the brand and supported the brand. Like, oh my God, I love that one episode we did this. Like, a lady that come in today, she's like, hey, where's that ham loaf? I'm like, what? She's like, the one on the podcast. Where's the ham loaf? Cars, where's it at? And like I had to like walk this lady back, but she was like, she came like 20 minutes just for this one thing of ham loaf.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it was cool because it's like, you put the information out there. And for me, like back to, you talk about writing, like I was never a good writer. I mean, I fell asleep, I think English 1, 2, and 3.
Mhm.
And in college, I almost wasn't allowed in because I couldn't write. But I could spell a little bit, but they let me in. So I do all the writing for the show, our podcast, and like forming the themes and stuff like that. Then Ryan comes in, puts his flavor in. But like the amount of work, like that people like when they watch a movie, you may watch 5 minutes of it. The amount of work that you put into it's more than just like a job. It's obviously a calling.
Yeah. You have to. I talked about this book. The first book I read on screenwriting, and the one that I always go back to is called Save the Cat. And it's exact thing. In the first 12 minutes, you have to show the audience why we care about this person to go on this journey for 90 minutes. And it's called Save the Cat because even if it's a villain, they don't have to be a good person. It could be like, okay, like The Godfather. It's happening and it's at his daughter's wedding. We get to see that he's a father. We unknowingly care. We're rooting for him. And so like that's the Save the Cat moment. It's like if this person could go in, rob a bank, but by scene 3, if we see him like tip a waitress $100 or go save a cat, it doesn't matter what he does. As an audience, we're now defending him. Well, you don't understand. He's misunderstood. His mom like we're defending evil actions because we saw a moment of humility. And that's like I mean, I stand by that. And I like look for it and things of like, why don't I care? And it's like, oh, I didn't see that. And it could be so small. It doesn't need to be like the tipping thing, I think is a great thing. You see like a murder, like take care of a tab for like a mom with 3 kids and she can't afford to pay, you're like, but he's a good guy. Like we're rooting for you. That's what movies do. They show different perspectives, different point of views. There could be a million movies about the same movie, but from the different perspective of somebody else.
Everybody likes a bad guy.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, I never thought of it that way, but it's so true. I mean, it's so true.
So, Katie, if people want to get involved with the production or with your film, what's the best way to go out there and get a hold of you, reach you? I mean, email, phone, smoke signals, flare guns. What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, almost 30, 330movie@gmail.com. I get that personally. If you follow me on Instagram, Katie Fissori Burke, I do read every single DM I get, which is I like set aside a time from it. This is another thing, but like I have like an infertility awareness Instagram. Like it accidentally happened, but it came from like nobody was talking about this, and I felt, well, how can I make people feel seen? I made one video, it went viral. Like my fertility clinic that I was working with offered to pay in full for everything I was doing because I was bringing so much awareness. So like, as that's not silly. There are people that want to turn around and help people for people that are making people feel seen. So yeah, my Instagram, I reply to everybody, almost 330movie@gmail.com. I don't know if you can put that in the show notes, but yeah, I reply to everything. I'm around town. I go to the mingles. Stop me. If anyone does see me in town, I really enjoy I enjoy talking about the movie. I would love to hear how, like, there's so many things that go into a movie. Like, I know from donating like chocolate for the cast baskets, because we're bringing in like pretty big names. So we want to like have baskets for them of like, hey, this is Saxonburg. Welcome. We're happy to have you. From like donating a $5 gift card to huge executive producers. There are so many things and ways to help. So stop and talk to me, and yeah, I'd just be happy to share.
Outside of this, we definitely want to do a sprinkle like Facebook video live with you, because I mean, I think it'd be, for the super local customer, obviously they, we have a lot of following that way. I think it might, get some more word out there.
Yeah.
But it'd be fun. We're looking forward to it. Obviously we're excited that you're gonna be in Saxonburg. When you guys start filming and need some hoagies, ours are way better than Freeman's was.
I've had them. I know.
We may or may not send somebody to snap a couple pictures of people eating.
Oh, that's something that we're saying too. Anything, if you donate anything, you're more than welcome to come to set that day to take pictures for your Instagram, Facebook, whatever. We're super happy. We need tons of food. Yeah, we need.
We'll cater the hoagie day. We're definitely gonna cater the hoagie day.
Yeah,
but. Thank you so much, Kate, for being on the show today, though. Really appreciate it. What a crazy, awesome, inspiring story that you have, coming back to Saxonburg. Thank you for choosing to come back to Saxonburg. I think, more people, follow your way and be part of, that growth of a person, and being, more open about, what you're into, and then obviously following through. I think it's a huge asset to the community.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it'll be cool seeing almost 30 like just really come to life on the streets of Saxonburg.
I'm really excited.
It's gonna be neat.
We're looking to shoot, if everything goes well with the Capitol, we're looking to shoot start date between October 15th and 20th, and then we should be wrapped the week before Thanksgiving. It's going to be within an 18 and 20 day shoot.
Oof,
so
it's a lot.
It's going to be long, but I've waited a really long time. I can stay up for 20 days straight.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you'll be ready. You'll be ready. Well, thank you, Katie. It was great having you on. We'll make sure we have all the socials, everywhere to reach you, tagged and put everywhere. And if you see we missed one, just hit us a quick text and we'll add it in.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Katie. Thanks for everything you're bringing to the town.
Thank you.
PA Skill players seek genuine PA Skill games. How can you tell the real from the imitation? The PA Skill Alliance offers a 4-step identification process to help you find genuine PA Skill games. 1. Check for logos. Does the machine display official Pennsylvania Skill Game logos? 2. Look for Powered by Pacematic. Is it Powered by Pacematic visible on the game's case? 3. Assess business reputation. Is the game a reputable business? Genuine PA Skill games were not intended to be standalone businesses. 4. Examine game style. Is it a tic-tac-toe style game that offers the option to win every time? Help combat fraudulent skill games by exclusively playing genuine PA Skill Alliance supported games. Discover more at paskillalliance.org. That was a great interview. Whoa, such a great interview that Gone couldn't make it. It was a great interview with Katie Fissori. Just unbelievable. I can't wait to see her movie, and I can't wait to see how Saxonburg is shown and how I can't wait for people to see Saxonburg. Actually, it's gonna open up Saxonburg to the whole world. I really believe that, and I'm excited to see it. But right now, it's time for retail stories. Sorry, from around the world. Aldi, can you believe it? The discounter man in New York City, one of the highest end retail places in the world, if not the highest end. How's that work?
It's a magical land where a one-bedroom apartment costs $4,200 a month, but a block of sharp cheddar costs $1.89.
That's New York City, man.
New York City.
New York City, specifically Midtown Manhattan. Discount grocery giant Aldi just opened a massive 25,000 square foot flagship right on 42nd Street, steps away from Times Square and the Port Authority bus terminal.
Fun fact, you know that their distribution center for Western Pennsylvania is in Saxonburg?
You know what? I did realize that, but I don't know where. I still don't know where it is.
Oh, it's right out there on, you know where Saxonburg Boulevard is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that industrial plant to the right there. So weirdly, Aldi's is there, Brayman's is there, and Brayman's is the second largest bridge builder in America.
Wow. That's wild.
So there's a lot of stuff going on in Saxonburg that, from manufacturing, like Penn United, Duco, United Ceramics, and all those guys. And then you also have this other world of just crazy retail and big bridge building. But, you know, it's kind of crazy to think about. So you're like a tourist is in New York City with their camera. Yeah, they just walked out of the Lion King on Broadway. They hang the left. They're grabbing a 25-cent shopping cart to buy a $3 bag of kettle chips.
Yeah. Literally, yes. They put it on the ground floor of a luxury apartment building called the Ellery. Imagine playing Manhattan Rent, and your ground floor amenities include cheap avocados in the Isle of Shame. I just don't understand how the math's going to add up. I mean, you got to sell a lot of coconuts to be able to pay for that kind of rent.
Well, think about it. I mean, you know, the whole idea, Aldi's entire business model in America rests on putting a quarter in a cart so you don't look like you stole some or hire somebody to gather carts in the parking lot. So you basically have a situation where you're now forcing the customer to come to you and do most of the work, including your own bagging.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's wild.
And there's no parking lot. And the 42nd Street, the people are going to do with a quarter on an A train. I mean, like, think about all your groceries. What do you do with all your grogroceries? You know, you're going to see somebody pushing a cart down through Times Square, and they're like, hey, we want our 25 cents back.
I don't understand. I mean, I get it. I get, you know, actually it's Brand's dream is one of her things is to own a building and have own the grocery store on the first floor and then have the penthouse suite. So, I mean, that makes sense. And it makes sense. I mean, let's face it. One building in New York has more people than all three of our towns.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, so I get the fact, okay, people have to eat. And if you have that right there, you're going to get the business. I just don't see how especially somebody like Aldi with their pricing strategy is going to be able to hit the margins to justify the rent. I don't understand that. Unless it's some kind of a reduced rent deal as a plus to like moving in there. I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, the commercial real estate in New York City is insane. We both know that.
Yeah.
But, you know, for anyone who doesn't know the lore, you know, I got to ask myself, how did two German grocers end up taking over Times Square?
Quick history lesson. Aldi started in Germany back in 1913, before the war that was supposed to end all wars, World War I, as a small mom-and-pop store run by Albrecht family. After World War II, the two brothers, Theo and Carl, took over and turned it into a low-cost machine. Sound familiar? Sam Walton. But in 1961, the brothers had a famous feud.
Wait, two brothers are fighting?
Yeah, hard to believe, huh?
So what was it? What caused it?
Maybe they needed a podcast.
Maybe.
Cigarettes, baby. Cigarettes. One brother wanted to sell cigarettes at the counter. The other thought it would attract shoplifters. So they literally split the entire company in half. Aldi North and Aldi South.
And which one's Manhattan?
In the U.S., Aldi Sud is the Aldi we know. Aldi South. Fun fact, Aldi Nord bought Trader Joe's back in the 70s. So whenever you shop at Trader Joe's or Aldi, you're basically picking a side in a 60-year-old German sibling rivalry.
Guys, so Trader Joe's is a cool, basically, is the cool ashtray brother or artsy brother, and the Aldi's hyper efficient brother who charges you for the bags.
I like ashtray brother better, but and it's kind of fitting for what
I'm thinking of the
just said.
cigarettes.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm
it's like
saying.
ashtray.
I think ashtray actually makes more sense. But yeah, I mean that's what happened. That's the facts, and I mean nobody, including me, before this episode knew that.
Well, the key here is, and answer your question, the New York store, over the 40,000 products they have, 90% is private label. And
yeah,
it only carries about 2,000 products. So like they have a total SKU of 40,000, but that store only carries like 2,000, and it's 90% private label.
that's such a genius. It's just such a genius format. You know, it really is, because I mean I think we've talked about it before, but private label, you can sell it so much cheaper. The quality is right there. And from a retailer perspective, especially if you're controlling the brand with the buying power of these guys, you can cut out the middleman. But private label, even for us, you know, you're making twice, sometimes 3 or 4 times the gross profit. So that does make sense. The mix is right for it.
And have you ever watched the cashiers? I mean, it's legendary, the cashiers at Aldi's. I mean, they're literally the Olympics of cashiering.
It's terrifying. They put giant barcodes on all 4 sides of the private label packaging, so the cashier doesn't even look for the barcode. They just drag it across the glass at 100 miles an hour and it scans. It's really it really is amazing.
And New Yorkers are notoriously impatient. Putting an Aldi cashier who scans items like they're trying to beat a speed run world record in Manhattan is like placing a NASCAR pit crew driver in a subway station. Items are flying out of the cart before you even know you have Apple Pay.
Best part of this Midtown store is the famous Aldi Finds aisle, also known as the aisle of shame. It's the middle aisle where they sell random stuff weekly: lawnmowers, inflatable kayaks, pet stairs, chainsaw sharpeners. You name it, man. It could be in that aisle. If it was the right deal at the right time, the right buyer bought it, it's going to be in the middle of that aisle. But it changes every week, so it creates like a mystery opportunity. I mean, can you imagine seeing a bunch of Midtown Manhattaners wielding chainsaws around? I don't know if that's a good idea, man.
No.
Especially in the holiday season when everybody's all freaked out and it's cool weather's kicking in, everybody's sweating the credit cards.
I can't wait the next time I go to New York City and see some guy walking down the street with a $20 inflatable kayak and a memory pillow when he's on his way to get milk from the store on his way in from Queens.
To be honest, it could solve a big problem, because, I mean, let's face it, a lot of the city stores have went away. We know it's a problem. A lot of these big cities are food deserts. And because, you know, people like us can't afford to go in there. The big dudes, there's you know, lower hanging fruit, so to speak, by, you know, putting themselves in suburban areas with, you know, more people, higher incomes, lower crime, all that kind of stuff, especially like lower, rents, lower building purchasing. So this is actually brilliant, and it could just repeat itself across America if it works.
I can't wait to see the guy out front selling quarters for the carts.
That's gonna be interesting, man. That's gonna be interesting. Or well, I guess they don't have card collectors because they control the cards.
Mm-hmm. And people don't want to give away quarters.
As much as I hate to admit it, here you go, Aldi. That's worth a gong strike. Here's to you. Here's to you. But it's time, Doug, for my retail story of the week. And my retail story of the week.
Did you forget it?
I did. It's funny. Actually, I think you know what? No, I didn't forget it. You know what I did?
You told it in the.
I told it in the origin story. So my retail story of the week is in the origin story. So hopefully you heard it, the Canada situation. And then I kind of combined it with the July thing and the seasons.
Oh, you went on ham on it.
I was all over the place this week. But those are my retail stories of the week, tied into other segments. So there you have it, everybody.
I'm glad you didn't forget the punchline like last time. When you're like, you told the joke perfectly, then you're like, you know, the cat and the what, and Harrison Ford. I'm like, dude. Like, we had to literally do that 3 times. And then I told you what the joke was, and you still were like, you took the punchline first. It was great.
Thankfully, the crowd appreciates the fact that we're real people trying to do podcasts to the side. And, you know, sometimes we just aren't pro. But I think that's to our advantage. But anyway, yeah, my retail story of the week. was already said. So it's time for retail trends.
Guys, we're gonna stay on this Aldi kick because why not? Back to why Aldi's is so successful. It's upscaling, and it's this week's trend. It's upscaling the private label.
Today we're talking about a massive shift in consumer psychology that is keeping executives at Kraft, Lay's, and Nestle up all night.
Exactly. 4 decades of buying store brands was something people did quietly out of necessity, but Aldi's has completely flipped the script. They aren't just calling it cheap alternatives anymore. They are aggressively upscaling their private labels, consolidating 90 random sub-brands down to unified powerhouses, and stamping an Aldi original directly on the front of the gourmet packaging.
It's really cool because there used to be a stigma to people that bought private label, to people that sold private label. There was like a social stigma of like, oh, you're using private label, like a lower class type of thing. But now with TikTok and Instagram, showing off Aldi haul is an absolute flex.
Guys, take a trip back to the 1980s. Do you remember what the private label used to look like?
Yeah, man. I mean, it was like literally stale looking. The label was stale looking.
Funny side note about Ricky again. Ricky took me to a Clarion party once, and literally we were drinking at this frat party beer. It was a white can with a black letters beer on it. I've never been so sick in my life.
Ugh. No, that's what they call rot gut. Rot gut.
And seriously, you feel like you're failing in life when you're used to buy the old, discount brand. Remember, like they used to actually color code it differently. They used to have like yellow boxes would always be the private label. So a whole brand would be across the store yellow, so you can instantaneously identify, hey, that's the discount brand.
Yeah, now you're picking up Italian bronze cut pasta, truffle infused pestos, and artisan wood fired pizzas. I mean, it's not private label now. I mean, it is private label, but it's the stigma's gone, man.
Well, think about this. It costs 40% less than the national brands. Meanwhile, the national brands are doing all the work for you. They're spending millions of dollars at Super Bowl ads. They're out there buying ad space to promote their original premium brand. Meanwhile, always just slipping into the side with this, exactly the same quality, but it's the Aldi. Everybody knows that the Aldi has the private brand.
Yeah, no, and they're using that money to put it into the quality. So like they've done a great job of just building their brand by being very good and people noticing the discount, but at the same time, like using the socials and making it trendy. I mean, just like it's really, we're doing the same thing with our brand, and they're just doing it on a bigger scale, and they've been doing it for another 60 years than us. But, for years, Aldi tried to trick your brain. They had around 90 different private label sub brands, and they intentionally looked almost identical to national brands. Clancy's chips looked just like Lay's. Millville cereal looked just like General Mills.
And now, you guys, you see like Costco, they built a brand, Kirkland, as we all know, that's now a $58 billion monster.
Yeah, I mean, the secret's out, man. Shoppers know the quality of these products are superior. It'll be interesting to see how the national brands, because eventually, let's face it, it's got to cut into it.
Oh, for sure.
And even though I'm sure a lot of national brands are producing for them, but at the same time, if you're a national brand and you got stockholders and you got Berkshire Hathaway on 30% of you, and you got to answer to that, it takes you got to sell a lot of peanuts at this price to offset what you used to make at this price.
Right. And to Ryan's point, what's the big corporate word out there for those big guys? CPGs, consumer packaged good companies. It's their biggest fear. And again, they think it's just the brand. No, it's the Gen Z millennials out there following TikTok to see what the hottest trend is.
Yeah. Older generations, even our generation, really. I mean, you get what you pay for. It's a brand name. It's safer and higher quality. I mean, we were trained that from an early age.
And they're showing that the younger generations, 70% of them see that the private label is just the same as the corporate.
Yeah, I mean, they don't care if a cookie has a multi-million-dollar cartoon mascot on the box. They care if it tastes good, leaves them with enough money to pay rent.
And they're actually projecting that over the next couple of years, that over $190 billion a year will be private label brands.
Wow. It's amazing. And you know what? It bodes well for us, actually, because, let's face it, the independent retailer, I mean, whatever the big dudes do, it gets down into our system eventually because the brands have to react. So I think it's going to just continue to increase the quality of our private label brands and make us even stronger long term as long as we react to it, which we always do. I hope we don't change our mindset. You and I are pretty open-minded when it comes to independent retailers. People tell us all the time we're the most open-minded retailers. So I hope we'll jump on the trends.
And a new trend happening in Saxonburg is they were scouring the back room, right, like racking and stuff. They found a box of old supplies, and the old supplies was still good. It's in plastic, everything else. But remember, like the certain tea companies have like the little jugs of tea.
Yeah,
like little it's like a milk jug but tiny.
Mm-hmm.
We found a whole box of them.
Wow.
Right. So guess what they're going to do with it? So Megan's Main Street Coffee is going to do their coffee to go in mini jugs.
Oh, wow. That's fun.
How cool is that?
That's really cool.
So you're going to have this little mini jug of coffee.
Collector. Yeah. That's neat.
And you're actually getting more value because it's 16 ounces.
That's a fun way to make use of something like that, man. That's a fun way.
It's going to start a trend.
Yeah. That's it. That's this week's Retail Trends, the segment on Checked Out Podcast. Drop a comment below. Are you a national brand, hardcore, I like my Cheerios, or are you somebody that's willing to try private label? Whether it be IGA, whether it be Aldi brand, whatever. I mean, for me, if I'm doing the shopping, it's gonna be private label because I know that the taste difference, it's not there, but the price difference is. And I don't care what somebody if somebody's head's in my pantry judging me by that,
it's usually me.
Whatever. Hey, here's to you, man. Here's to you.
Well, guys, this week's one of our favorite segments of the week. It started out, if you guys, a fun fact, this started out by Ryan eating beef liver, and he couldn't take it anymore. So he took over his own segment. He literally boycotted the segment, made his own segment. And it's Ryan's this week. It's Ryan's. What's on Ryan's grocery list?
Yeah, this week, guys. And it's been a long time getting this. I've wanted this on my grocery list now. This is the third week that I've had this on my grocery list. The first week, my little nephew snuck into the studio and ate one of the three parts of the item of the week because there's three parts to it. And then the second week, Cowboy over there knocked down the second portion.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
No, you all of a sudden you started talking about something else. We had to swatch the thingy because you had two items down there.
No. Once this comes out, it's going to jog your memory. Hint: Ghostbusters.
Slimer?
No. Part one.
Marshmallows.
The part that Doug ate.
I love marshmallows.
Now you remember. Marshmallows are part one. And hey, look what I picked. IGA brand. Why? Just as good, if not better.
Do you know marshmallows is the favorite item for golfers?
No.
You know why?
Huh.
Did you ever go on the course with a bag of marshmallows, just start throwing them around?
Oh my God. That's sick. And look at this. Private label again. I picked these up. Picked this off the shelf.
I do love Craven.
Yeah, Craven, man. It's our private label. One of our private labels. So I got my graham crackers, my marshmallows. You can probably guess what's next. Boom! The Hershey bar, baby.
Guys,
I got my s'mores.
It's the holy
After 3
trinity
weeks.
of snacking. Oh, you finally got there.
For 3 weeks, baby.
Do you know that generates Hershey over $250 million a year?
Well, I believe it. I mean, I probably spend $250, and I'm just one person.
And that accounts for over 2.5 billion s'mores eaten every year. It's the insane dessert that requires zero baking skills and guaranteed to leave your hands sticky for 3 business days. As grocery operators, we can talk about s'mores are the greatest single cross merchandising trick in history. It's evil genius. Usually you have items in its own departments, candy in aisle 3, crackers in aisle 7, marshmallows are in the baking, but come summertime, they all join forces on one end cap.
No, the nice thing about it is, man, I mean, look at that sandwich. And, you could do it with a toasted one, but, I mean, this isn't toasted, but it's so good. I mean, look at 3 just beautiful things all in one bite. And the nice thing is, you're usually outside, so you don't even care if it, crumbles and goes everywhere. So it's just amazing. Again, guys, that bite, man, it's like,
You better vacuum that up.
Your dog will get. This is the most amazing thing ever, man. So good.
Man, I'm feeling hungry now. But it's crazy. You come to the store, you want to spend $4 on milk, you end up spending $18 on a high margin impulse buy because three completely different brands joined forces by a campfire to make the s'more. And you know that was actually started by the Girl Scouts?
Makes sense. Women are smarter than men.
The very first official published recipe for the s'mores appeared in 1927, Girl Scout handbook called the Tramping and Trailing with the Girl Scouts. Back then, they were called...
Wait, whoa. What was it called?
Tramping and Trailing with the Girl Scouts.
Wow.
A little edgy.
Real edgy.
I didn't make the title.
No, I'm not blaming it on you. I'm just saying, obviously, tramping didn't mean what it means now.
Well, it didn't age well. That book did not age well.
I was going to say, yeah, that probably lasted like a year.
But, it's funny. Back then, they were called them some Moors because everybody kept asking for more. And a troop leader named Loretta Scout Crew, or a leader named called Loretta Scout Crew, credited it with writing it down. Before that, people in 1910s used to be calling a marshmallow. I can't pronounce that French word. Margaret? Menagerie? Maybe menagerie. My French is horrible. Which was toasted marshmallows on a saltine cracker.
I lost track of where you're at, but it's really good.
Okay.
I mean, bottom line, it's really good, man.
Well, saltine, saltine on that sandwich sounds like a Depression era punishment. Thank goodness girls swapped out the saltines from graham crackers and threw a slab of chocolate on it, which is interesting because we just found out from Jake Garr that originally it was graham crackers and ham loaf, and later his family went back to saltines.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, ham loaf, I could see, obviously the results are great. In this case, man, the graham cracker move was the move. I mean, it was a truly historical upgrade. The three together, the Hershey bar, the graham crackers, and the marshmallow just really just melts in your mouth. It's so good.
And like all influencers, the new trends is to swap out the chocolate from Hershey's to go to a Reese cup or a cookies and cream bar.
Ooh, I could see that. I could definitely get behind that.
That's like elite s'more game.
Yeah.
But that's this week's Ryan's grocery list item. Guys, next week, I can't wait to see what he brings in the bag. Hopefully my son doesn't eat it or I don't eat it. But we'll see.
That's my pick. I just got to keep it from these guys, and I'll be able to keep sharing my items of the week with you. And now, guys, it is time for Doug's retail story of the week.
Guys, as we talk about retail, a lot of people always ask me, like, what's my craziest theft story? And they're always usually the same effect. So in our world, we don't have a loss prevention officer. We don't have 15 people watching cameras. Usually what happens in our world is somebody sees something at a place, whether it's a customer doing something bizarre, an employee doing something bizarre, bookkeeping catching something. Really, our cameras are almost like the history lesson behind the case. But something that happened not too long ago in our store was somebody found in the milk cooler, somebody found a bag of meat, like a bag of chip steaks. And they found the bag of chip steaks and they brought it out to my attention. And this was like early morning on Sunday. They said, hey, we found this in the cooler. And I'm thinking, well, that's weird. That's really bizarre. So the normal process is that you first have to find when they found it on the time clocks. You go to the time clocks on the time clock with the cameras and find the moment the person found it. That's your end time. That's when you know, like, they basically work way back from then. And then you have to watch the cameras back to see when the camera in the cooler changed to have the bag present. And so like that could take, for this situation, it took up to like 8 hours. And so the reason it took so long was I'm looking through, I'm thinking, oh, okay, who did it? And I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute, maybe a customer did it. Cause like usually when somebody drops something in the cooler, it's that they're going to grab it on the way home or something in that case. And so I'm watching the cameras and first I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's a meat guy. Maybe the meat guy, decided to go on their break, drop off in the cooler and grab it later. And so I'm watching the whole thing and it's not the case. I'm thinking it's a customer. It's not the case. And all of a sudden, one of the dairy people came back they walked up to the shelf, and how I do it is I watch the meat case and I watch for movement of the packaging in the meat case. And all of a sudden I saw that package move. And so then I stopped because you watch it at like times 8 speed. If you watch it at real time, you're gonna be there for 4 days. So I'm watching it and I see it move and I see the person grab it. They take it back to the dairy cooler, right? They put it in the dairy cooler. Then all of a sudden they walk back out, do some work, come back. Then they walk out of the dairy cooler with the empty tray and plastic from the thing. And then they weren't really prepared enough. So they went over to produce, grabbed a produce bag, came back to the dairy cooler and put the meat in the produce bag, right? So I'm watching this whole thing go down. And then I watched the same person go on their lunch break, bring back their little thermos thingy or little lunch box, and then they walk back out with the lunch box, but then they don't go back in the cooler the rest of the day, right? So we know they did it because why else would all the thing? But here's the crazy thing: the hardest part about this whole process is the confrontation part.
See, I think that's the easiest part. I think by that point, at least the hardest part is the wasting of all the resources, whether it be you and or whoever else trying to, find out who did it. The who done it part drives you crazy. You get more and more mad by the minute because you should be working on 10 other projects. But it's very important to work on this project because you can't let people steal. You got to walk a hard line there. But at the same time, you just get more and more angry every minute that's going by. Once you finally get to the point it's time to confront them, and I mean, people don't walk away from theft with us. If you steal, you're done. Like that, it's like meatloaf, man. We'll do anything for people, but we won't do that. We won't get past theft. So at that point, I think honestly, once you're at the confrontation phase, it's actually an easy process. Obviously by then they did it.
Well, 100%. But the frustration thing for me is when we hire people at Sprinkles, we say that our 3 rules are customer service, be a good person, don't steal. But the 4th one we always talk about is if you need something, come to us. We'll give you a short-term loan. We'll help you out. But the frustrating thing is when you catch them and then you realize they've been with you for 4.5 years. And you're like, oh.
Yeah.
4.5 years every day at $12.
It's wild, man.
5 days
wild.
5 days a week. So, that's one of the stories. We have a million stories of catching retail theft. But, the best one was obviously our stalker in Apollo with the cigarettes. But, people always ask, how do we go about the process? Usually it's always reaction. It's something was out of place, something brought to our attention, and then we work back from there. We find the hard lines as far as when it happened and when it was discovered, and then we work back. And, people don't realize, like at all of our stores, we have like 60 cameras in every store.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to hide in our stores, honestly, but at the same time, I'm still confused. The process this person went through. I mean, taking it out of the package and having it sit. I mean, just the whole thing was just.
It wouldn't fit in the lunchbox.
Oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense now. It wouldn't fit in the lunchbox, so that's why it was just lame. So then they just decided to leave it there,
right?
Because they didn't want to risk.
Well, no, they were working on other stuff, but then the coworker came back and.
But yeah, it's wild. Man.
Yeah,
it's wild. Chipstick. I mean, if you're gonna go that far, get a strip steak.
The person didn't put in the lunchbox. It was caught before that. When I went back to look at old footage, that's when I saw the lunchbox being brought into the equation. Yeah. But the other coworker caught it in there and came to management before they had time to put in the lunchbox. But like the previous day in the lunchbox, 4.5 years.
Yeah. I mean, I say should have got, but it's actually to your benefit that it was a chip steak. At least it was a chip steak and wasn't a Delmonico.
What about chicken breast? Still a chicken breast. It's like $1.98 a pound.
Yeah, but I mean, who wants to be throwing a random
just in the bag?
Sloppy chicken breast in the bag.
That's a good point. You gotta have standards when you're stealing.
I mean, it's better just not to steal. I mean, it's better not to steal. Just don't steal. But that is a wild story, man. I mean, I had never heard of that kind of thing happening. And
think about the pencil whipping. It was like 15 minutes of pencil whipping.
That's true. Along with stealing from you, they're on your time, trying to do their best, what do they call the guy that goes into like a museum and, walks through all this stuff and the little rays and stuff to try to, get the painting.
You talking about like a thief?
Like a high-end thief,
like an art thief.
Yeah,
like a Thomas Crown affair.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah. Like a Thomas Crown. Is that a caper?
Yeah, mate. Caper's the story.
Oh, caper's the story.
Or it's also on bagels.
Yeah. Well, this story was sad because the juice wasn't worth the squeeze from my standpoint.
No,
and their end of it. I mean,
It's a shame.
It's a shame, but hey, everybody's got something, and you have to. If you do the crime, you got to do the time. So they're doing the time by not getting paid for their time.
Gong it. Do the crime, you got to do the time. But guys, other episode number 35 of the Checked Out podcast. Big thanks to Katie Fissori Burke for stopping by and making sure you give her a follow at Katie Fissori Burke. And keep an eye out for Almost 30 when it's produced and kicks off right here in Saxonburg.
And if you enjoyed this episode, you enjoy the shorts, you enjoy anywhere you're watching the podcast, hit a subscribe, hit a follow, help us out because, hey, that helps to ensure the more follows, the more subscribers we get, the longer we can keep telling these stories.
Guys, and a big shout out to our friends at PA Skill Alliance. Guys, there's less than 92 days left until we're on the precipice of disaster in Pennsylvania. If skill games don't get regulated by our legislators, our state reps, and our state senators, by that time, we're going to see a lot of problems in small communities across the Commonwealth, including those at fraternal orders, veteran organizations, fire companies, and small businesses like ours. So make sure you help them out. Get involved. Check them out at paskillalliance.org. And remember, guys, it's skill, not luck.
Baby! And remember, the next time you're having some issues with the family and you want things done differently around the house or you want things done differently on your team, call it out.
Ooh, solid.
Call it out. Corporate word of the week.
But guys, catch you next week. As always, appreciate the follows, up to almost 3,000 on YouTube. Thank you guys for all the support, liking, sharing, commenting. It means the world to us. And as always, we can't do what we do without you.
Come and see. But I mean, at the same time, I'm not going to go to jail for it.
So to make it easier, I try to put RS and DS so it's quick.
Yeah.
And just like we've always had done. Like
You're lucky I can read.